We are live. How are you doing? It is the first Sunday of calendar 2024, so I'm excited for this live, and let's see what shows up and comes through today for the highest good. If you're watching on YouTube, timestamps will be below in the description, of course, for your reading and for the full channel mode message and all that. And otherwise, I'm going to hang out here as people show up and as we get going here. So, hey everybody who's showing up right now. Ooh, how is it going? Hey Kanesha, good to see you. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Soul Nurse Linz, how are you doing? Hope you're doing great. I am going to unmirror, and there's all these like, oh, thanks for the heart. Thank you so much for the hearts. Hi, Star Guide. How are you doing? Hey, Carla. Hope you're doing great as well. Yep. Perfect. Hey, Earth Angel 444. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. I'm like just now kind of like, do I have this too low for the camera? That probably looks good for you guys, hopefully. Hey, Tara. Good to see you. Hope all is well. All is well. All is well and getting better. So, or what will it take for it to get better? Good to see you with Take Your Gannon. Live your best life with Lisa. Hi. Hope you're doing well. I'm wishing you all a beautiful year ahead. And hey, Jessica. Great to see you too. Happy New Year. Oh, it's interesting. I just started feeling nervous for some reason for this. I'm like, I've been doing this for a couple of years now, so probably just because I had a couple of weeks off, or maybe it's one of your guys' energy, or maybe it's just excitement because it's gonna be really great. That's what I would hope for, that or better. But I'm kind of just talking right now. Oh, thank you, Earth Angel. Hey, Kelly, Orlando Lover, great to see you. Hey, Debbie, Happy New Year. 420 nice, 69 nice. Hello, Happy New Year. Great username. Super anxious. Sorry. Oh, I don't think it's you. You're good. And even if it was you, it's probably not your fault necessarily. And you know, people from all sorts of backgrounds are probably showing up for this to receive what would be for the highest good for them to receive. So it's no biggie in a way, and you know, the angels got me, so or I'm going to ask them to have my back with all that if they aren't automatically taking care of that, but I think they are. Hey, Jessica Johnston, Happy New Year to you as well. Happy to see you as well. Of course, always good to see you. Dimebag, Happy New Year. Oh no, jury duty tomorrow at 7:30. Supposed to fly to Dallas at 12:30. Hopefully that works out. Hopefully they just don't choose you for the jury. Oh, thanks for Earth Angel 444. Hey. Thank you, Nirvana, Water Lily Princess. It was nice. I get it was needed. And even if I didn't think so in the moment and I wanted to come live here, there were just shifts and changes internally that were necessary. And sometimes just taking a step back allows everything to upshift. You know, love my emails. Oh, awesome. I'm so glad to hear it. It means the world to hear it. I do take time on those, channel those through. So I'm glad you're loving them and they're helping you here. And if anyone, yeah, she's referring to my free newsletter that if anyone else is new here and they're like, what? Oh, thank you so much. Who said the emails are Tara Elizabeth? Thank you. Exactly, Tara Elizabeth. Need to take a break and breathe for sure. A lot of shifts. Yup, especially heading into 2024. And I don't think that's going to be slowing down right now either based on what I'm getting right here. Oh, thank you, Kanesha. Mine are definitely some of the only emails you're looking forward to seeing. That means a lot. I really, really appreciate that. I think that means I'm doing my job. So, hey, Summerlay, hope all is well. All is well. Thank you so much. And I hope all is well with you as well. I hope you've been doing great out in the wide world with whatever you are doing right now, of course. Thank you, Sarah C's. I appreciate it. I'm switching it up. It's unmirrored, so if I like do something that's like the wrong side, and like that's why. As far as physical moments. Oh, hi, Moon. How are you doing? Thank you, Cowtippa. That means absolutely. That means I'm doing my job. May it continue to be so, of course. So we're going to start the readings in just a second here. So I'm getting to do the same format we've been just rolling through for the past while. So, you know, collective reading, fire signs, earth signs, air signs, water signs, full channel mode, and potentially energy healing infused guitar. Or maybe we'll just do a straight up energy healing session, or facilitate rather, depending on the wordage that is best. So I'm getting to start right now, unless speak now or forever hold your peace if you have any objections. But it's not a marriage, so I think we're fine. And some of you might be happy to see I finally beefed up the cards a little bit so you can read them a bit better. I just raised the camera rather, and now you can't read it, but now you can, hopefully. And you guys let me know if like there's, because for me, I know we're about to jump into it. I have these like little, you can't see me pointing at it, but these ads like at the top of the screen that kind of obscure my face. So if that is showing up for you, let me know so I can adjust this camera correctly. But if not, and that's just for me, then I don't mind if it's in my way because I'm not really looking at myself that much. I'm good. Thank you, Spence. Good to see you, by the way. I hope you are doing well. It's perfect. Perfect. Thanks, guys, for letting me know. Just so I'm giving you guys a good experience, visually at least. And they're telling me to start right now. So, collective reading is meant to be just for everybody who's here. It's timeless for whenever you're seeing it. If you're watching it now or on YouTube, it doesn't really matter. You're seeing it at the right time. I'm going to channel my spirit guides, angels, and source and work with my intuition to bring through whatever messages would be for your highest good right now, what you need to hear, what would help you for your highest good, and the highest good, of course, is also my intention. And your spirit guides might also jump in if it's for the highest good of both our systems and the reading for everybody. Besides that, I don't really judge it. I just allow to come through what's highest and best and for the highest good to come through. So let's just start here. They're showing me a surfboard starting out here. They're showing me Hawaii as well, which could be a sign for some of you. There's a dragon showing up, but I feel like that was actually for me. So let me sit with this and see where they're going with the message first and foremost. So there are a lot of changes that are still coming is the first sentence I hear for you guys regarding all of this. So just kind of keep surfing the waves, the collective waves, the energy waves that show up. We're all being shuffled to where we need to be. We're all being put in the places that we need to be. Like all is well are the words I'm hearing. And it's interesting because the other message they're giving me is like all is calm up here, like in the etheric to, I guess, to our spirit guides, to source, to the angels. They're like, you know, everything's fine. And so many people on earth judge things as bad when they're not bad, or they don't have the higher perspective. So they jump into fear the second anything out of the norm happens, and that's okay. We don't need to judge them for that either. Or if that is you or yourself, you don't need to judge yourself for that either, because a lot of people have been trained into it. So, but really what they're trying to get you to do is take a deep breath and be like, what if everything is okay? Like, what if all is well, regardless of the external circumstances in my life or in the world right now? And what if it's all headed in a really good direction? Because it is overall, even if you don't see that right now, or it takes a couple months to pan out, or whatever that is for you right now, it's all headed in a good direction. So they're kind of encouraging you to breathe a sigh of relief if you're in the place to do that and you can receive that, because everything's turning out really great, actually, in the next couple months for many of you. So that's fantastic. That's what I'd like to hear. For those of you who feel like you are drowning, perhaps rather than surfing the waves right now, for the few of you who might feel that way, like they are showing angels kind of like diving down into the waves and like offering a hand and pulling you back up and putting you on your surfboard. But you have to be willing to dance with the universe a little bit with just some of the changes, the ideas coming your way, some of the change in rhythm of life that's happening for all of us as we venture further into 2024. And for some reason, I'm getting 2025 energies as well. Like some of you are ahead of the curve in a lot of ways energetically, and you're like a year ahead of everyone energetically, which is perfect. Like that's not wrong or bad. Like keep doing you because it's helping everybody is something they're saying as well with this. But just be willing to dance a little bit differently and you're going to be fine is what I'm getting with that. Hopefully that makes sense and helps for you if you're feeling that. And like, so you're going to be back on your surfboard in the next month or so is what I'm getting for whenever you're seeing this, and things are going to be rectified, and you just have to be willing to take action on the things you need to do, excuse me, and make the moves you need to make, excuse me once again, and dance with the universe a little bit with what's showing up because it's going to be good if you're willing to do that is what I'm getting as well. So the next thing they're showing me something weird like the chupacabra, which I am a little bit unfamiliar with personally. I think that's like a mythical creature of more Mexican or Hispanic lore. So let me see what the message is because they'll give me the message regardless of what it is, of course, here. So here's what I'm getting. There are a lot of things happening for people right now in the world, even. It could be you as well, but it could be people around you that like they never thought would or could happen. And this could be positive as well. This doesn't have to be like terrible things I never imagined would happen are happening. It's not like that at all necessarily is what I'm hearing. It's more just like the possibilities are really opening wide. And if you've been following my work or listening to or reading what has been coming through from my channeling, excuse me, and my spirit team and source through me the past few months, you might be a little bit familiar with some of this message where it's just like a lot of possibilities are opening up this year and beyond, like beyond what we've expected, beyond what we've seen before. This can be very, very positive and of the light, of course, because that's where possibilities reside, is in the lights, or possibilities reside in the, I was seeing if I messed up my is or are there, like which word is the right word, but it doesn't matter. You get the message. Like the possibilities are in the light and the light coming to earth and that's raining down. So you don't need to be afraid of this message. It's more like there's weird phrase I heard with it was like myths become real or like legends become real. And it's not like a weird end times kind of message. It's not like apocalyptic or anything weird like that because I don't know why, but these certain like fantasy stories flashed in my head where there were maybe themes like that, but it was more like the end times, and that's not what this is. We are avoiding that on this timeline, and we will continue to avoid that is what I'm hearing. So if you were worried about that, try not to go there in your mind. Like we are remaining free from the apocalypse according to what I'm getting. I know some people are like maybe afraid of that or a bit nihilistic about all that, and that's fine. We can let them play in that game and that energy, and it doesn't have to affect us or affect our world, so we'll be fine. But where I'm trying to get more specifically, or where they're trying to get more specifically with this message, I want to see if there's like a deeper message or more direct way to say it before we move on to the next thing here. So a lot more is becoming possible. Now's the time to make major moves in your life. If you don't feel like it's right now, it's going to be like this year in general, like 2024 or whatever you're seeing this, I guess. Like that's going to be opportune for major shifts, big transformation, like heading towards dreams and targets, as long as you can keep it relatively grounded as well and not stay so lost in the dream and up here floating that you don't take grounded action, on it as well. And both can be important. I never want to limit it because yes, you can just ask for something and it shows up. At the same time, if that hasn't been working for you, what else do you need to do or bring in to be more effective? Or what's the best way to say this? Bring those things in that you'd like to bring in, if that makes sense. So it could potentially be important that you're doing both, like dreaming big and you're up here and you're like, oh, this is awesome and all these great things can happen. And also like down doing the grunt work, if you want to say that, to make dreams into realities for you, which is very possible in the next 2 years for sure is what I'm hearing, and potentially beyond. But now's a great time to take action on that because of the possibilities being unveiled in Earth. And this is so weird. Like this came through in the a different thing I channeled through, like channel messages on 2024 in general, like light pathways of manifestation. But because of the light pathways of manifestation opening up, dreams can come true much more readily than before, which is really cool. So the next thing they like to get to here, they're bringing in the phrase legendary change. Typically they show me like a sea serpent or sea monster as a visual with this. They didn't, they just gave me the phrase legendary change. So what's up with the legendary change here? I feel like you're all in that right now, this collective, even if you don't see it. And sometimes we've been in the crux or throes of legendary change for like 5 years already. And because it's been our world for so long, we don't realize the change we're already in. That's, again, actually leading to a good place. And so 2024 and 2025 are likely to spit us out in a good place if you feel like you've been going through any sort of legendary change. I'm trying to combine my words. Any sort of legendary change like that, or I'm saying this and you're like, oh yeah, that does make sense because of XYZ that happened 5 years ago and it has been really wild and oh my God, then this message is like for you, like it's gonna spit you out in a good place, which is really cool here. Next thing they're showing me is a bathtub with toy boats in it, like the plastic toy boats, and there's like a giant like fish, like a carp in it as well, and all of a sudden there's all these like fish in the bathtub too, like a koi fish and a goldfish and maybe like home aquarium type fish. There's a bath and it's, so bear with me as I go through this intuitive visual happening here, because there's like a whole like freshwater, maybe saltwater or something, like pond opening up here. So what's going on here? So it's kind of a weird message how sometimes we, bear with me on the wording, but we wake up and we're like in the wrong pond in life. And what does that mean? It's kind of like you've been living your life on autopilot. Then you wake up one day and you just kind of like realize what's going on. You're like, where am I? Like, why am I with this person or these people as my friends? Like, this is not the direction I chose for myself. This isn't where my soul wants me to go. Like, what is going on? It reminds me of the movie Soul. I think it's a Pixar movie, and there's like this scene where I'm not saying this is literally how it works, I'm just referring to a movie because they show me this and they seem to want me to talk about it as a sign maybe, where there's like a lost soul that the group in the movie is trying to, I guess, connect back to its body, and then they connect the soul back, and the dude was like a hedge fund manager or something, like, and he's just like obsessive about making trades. And then once they reconnect the soul, he's just like, what am I doing? There's so much more to life. And he just starts like bashing the computers off the desk. He's like, I'm alive, be free, and stuff like that. Kind of like that energy, I suppose. And that's happening for like everybody right now, especially the people who have been like ignoring their soul mission or their optimal pathway in life or what they're here to do. It's like that awakening is coming in very strongly for everybody. Even if you're on your mission, it's kind of like a further realization of like, oh, I am on the right track, that which could be really good for you. And that could like set a lot of things straight for you as well in your mind if you've been questioning things. So that could be cool too. But it's this great like soul awakening of purpose and like freedom and venturing towards what's for you. That's going to be hitting people very strongly in the next month or two, potentially beyond 2 if you want to extend it a little bit. For those of you seeing this, and it's going to lead you to the right pond, if you will, if you want to use that analogy, because I know that's kind of an interesting message, but hopefully that makes sense to you with that. And I'm sure you've had moments before where you're like, oh, this isn't where I belong. Like this person isn't meant to be my friend, or like this job is not where I belong. Like, what am I doing here? And sometimes it's a bit of a journey to undo some of that and get to where you need to go. There's a lot of mercy with all that right now, and in general from the divine, where it's like, if you're willing to forgive yourself, forgive others, wake up, go on the right track, it's like very easy and supported to wake up out of old patterns, and even negativity is something I'm hearing, and move in the right directions for you and your soul, which is great. That's what I would hope for everybody, honestly, and that would help a lot of things and puzzle pieces fall into place perfectly on the earth as well, which is happening slowly over the next few years as well. Like, you're going to see that uprises and energy and thing happening, like this reshuffling as well, which comes through as a message from time to time, like with the lives or other things other times I'm channeling or facilitating readings and all that. But it's just a big overarching theme for this like decade even is something I'm getting, which is cool. So next thing they're showing me, they're giving me the word freshwater, we're back in this pond or lake or whatever it is here, and it's expanded. We're in the right water now. So what's up with this intuitive visual? What is the message for you guys for last good from the divine? Give me 1 second. Cool message, but there is like this scuba diver in this water, and he finds this like buried or sunken treasure at the bottom of the ocean. And like the phrase I heard are like a couple phrases I heard where you are the treasure is one of the messages. So a lot of you are treasure, and you're bringing treasure to the earth, like through your work or who you're being or who you're becoming or the energy you bring. And that's perfect and really cool. And that's going to expand and grow greater because it's time. And the other thing with like treasure coming in for you from the divine, from the world around you, because you've earned this, or it's just time for you to receive this. It could be something you've been asking for a while, like even the past year is something I'm hearing. For some of you, maybe like 2 or 3 or beyond, but a lot of manifestation coming in the next couple months, which is really cool. A lot of treasure from the divine. And like, sometimes you have like things you need or desire, but you didn't like realize you needed or desired it because you didn't maybe you didn't realize it existed or something like that. Like a lot of that's coming in for you guys as well, which is cool. So it could be like a person or a friendship or like a tip or like a energy work tool or all sorts of different things are coming in as examples, like a class or a course or something else it could be anything, I guess, like a dog, or a pet too. But a lot of cool things coming in, which is fantastic. And the more you transition into who you are meant to be, the more you receive this. And like the questions popping in, like, how do I do that? Which maybe one of you was thinking that while I was bringing that through. And I'll give you a couple things that they'd like to say on that if they would like to talk about that. The first example I'm hearing, which some of you might have heard me talk about before, is like manifesting. Like when there's like an amorphous concept and you're like, how do I do X, Y, Z? It's like, I would manifest it however you manifest, where it's just like writing down like, okay, like I asked to step into who I'm meant to be. Source, please bring me there with ease and grace in whatever ways would be for my highest good. Or maybe like even like bring me there effortlessly, Source. Thanks so much, or something like that. And depending on how you operate or what you choose or however you feel called to do it, you could like write this down every day or put it on the mirror and say it every day, like, Source, bring me to who I'm meant to be. Thank you so much. And like, as that starts to show up, you get the signs and synchronicities around it. Like, I don't know, like maybe you'll pull up a reading on YouTube and they're just like, oh, you're becoming who you're meant to be. And you're like, it's working, or something. If you're newer, if you're more well-versed with this, you'll be like, yeah, I know all this, and that's cool too. That's a good place to be. So pat yourself on the back, at least a little bit there. Or like eventually you'll kind of get to a place where you just get the intuitive knowing like, oh, this is what I'm meant to be doing. This is who I'm meant to be. I feel more myself, and just like pay attention to those thoughts, especially from the thoughts that just like, I don't know how to describe this, but occur for you, like from the divine instead of coming from you. Because there are times where I have thoughts where it's just like, it's more like a claircognizant knowing maybe, or something akin to that, where it's just like, I have a thought, but I'll know it's like, it is like for me, but it's not like the same as my thoughts, if that makes any sense. And then it turns into like, oh, that was like a message for you, or that was like your intuition, or that was like a reading I was about to, sorry, I'm getting off track a little bit, but maybe this is helpful for some of you. Like sometimes before I'd watch a reading, I'd have like a thought kind of like that, where it's like, oh, I can do anything. I'm like, oh, cool. And then like I'd pull up a YouTube read. In the past, I used to watch a lot more YouTube readings, but I'd watch a YouTube reading. It'd be like, you're realizing you can do anything. I'm like, oh, that's where that thought came from, I guess. Or like, however that all works. Because sometimes it's like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? And what I'm getting is more like it was like the thought was from the divine, and then the reading happened, and it all works out. It's fine. But I kind of got on a sidetrack there. So let's get back to where it would be highest and best for us to go here to a new message. Hope that was sufficient to get that last message across there. But what's the next message for you guys here? They're showing me a campfire. They're showing me the word rest, and there are some like video games where a campfire is a place to like save your game or to like rest your character, or I'm not sure why they're bringing some of the nerdy stuff in, but it's okay. Like if you think of D&D, like you can take like short rests or long rests to recover like skills and abilities that you used in the game, for my D&D nerds out there. Or maybe you don't like the word nerd, and it's cool either way. But if you played D&D and you liked it, those people. And let me see. and I'm really not judging you as nerds. I'm not trying to do that. But the message for you guys regarding the campfire and rest here, I would not be afraid to take breaks this month. I'm filming this in we're live here in January, but whatever month you're seeing this, maybe just a little bit extra between actions you're taking, or if you have a day like off and you plan to do all these chores and your body's like no, and you can only do chores for half the day, and then you're just sitting there and watching Hallmark Christmas movie reruns or whatever. Then it's which I don't know if they play those in January, but that's fine. It's okay to take extra breaks to integrate and integrate new energy, to receive ideas from the divine, to take those pit stops, because we're all kind of being redirected in small ways, or fine-tuned by the divine. And what I'm hearing is sometimes it's easier to do that when we're sitting still and we're allowing ourselves to take a break than if we're rushing around 24/7 because we think we need to get all these things done. But it's how much of that do you really need to get done is their question, or my intuition's question rather. Because it's not as much as you think right now is, interestingly enough, what I'm getting. If you look at what will actually make the difference or move the needle or change things in the way you'd like, sometimes it's less than we think, which is a blessing in a way, as long as we get that awareness of that. No need to overdo it, but that's just going to help you integrate and be ready for February or the next month is what I'm getting, and for forward momentum. And this year is all about forward momentum. Not saying there won't be times to rest or times we're guided to take a break here and there or take pit stops. In fact, that self-care is necessary for the forward momentum that's coming in, because otherwise, a car will kind of shred its engine apart if it doesn't get an oil change every now and then, or if it's always, I don't know, some auto mechanic might be about to correct me in the comments, but if it's always running, maybe that could be potentially bad for the car. But if that's not 100% true for actual cars, then that's fine. You understand the analogy, hopefully, from there. So we're almost done with this reading. Not famous last words. It's usually the famous not last words, because then 20 other messages come through. But let me see what the other things are they'd like to say before we start to close this one out here. So, I don't know why, but one of the common visuals for some of these readings has been zebras wearing crowns or circlets with a gemstone in the center and diamonds or something like that. And so there's the zebra showing up, and he's telling me that's not the message he wanted to get to. He's taking the crown, he's kind of tossing it into the bushes for the next message, which is what the crown is about. So, okay. And he's plopping on the ground. He turns on this TV, I guess, and it's sub-Saharan Africa, so I guess there's a generator or solar panels or something. And he kind of tells me to sit down next to him. So where is this going? Give me 1 second. So here's a cool message. As we're sitting here watching this TV, which is some sort of weird zebra soap opera or something, and now he's laughing because I don't know, it probably wasn't important, but what he's saying specifically to me is zebra spirit animal, which is spirit maybe through the zebra, if you will, or source through the zebra, or the angels through the zebra, however you conceptualize it, however works best for you here. But it's spirit through the zebra. And it's you guys don't have to go out and get as much as you think. A lot of what you need is coming to you right now. And that's part of why this message of rest is coming in, is you're more magnetic than you realize. And your magneticness, if you will call it that, has been upgraded. And your heart is magnetic, and you're opening to your magnetism even as we speak right now. So it doesn't mean don't take action, because we did have that message earlier about dancing with life, and taking the action, of course, that you're divinely guided is always recommended by me, as far as I'm concerned. When you're guided or intuitively led to take an action, that's probably important. But again, that's why they're calling you to rest, is because you're magnetizing in a lot right now. And if you have to go and get anything, you'll know, you'll feel no, that's not coming unless I do this and this and this. And you'll kind of take action, or someone will say something and you're like, hey, don't you need to go to work today? And you'll be like, fine, I'll go to work today. I don't know, something like that. Or, do something for your business or wherever you're at with all that. So that's cool. The other thing is now the zebra's putting on that circlet, which had this amethyst, diamond shape, gemstone in it, which may or may not be a sign for some of you. He's like, now we can get to the other message here, which is kind of similar, because he's saying like you don't have to do very much to receive from the divine right now, but this is even like intuitive information, because there's like lightning coming out of this crown, but it's like going up to source, or vice versa maybe, and it's like your connections being electrified and streamlined, so it's going to be easier to be intuitive, get the information you need, even if that's from signs and synchronicities around you, however you operate right now. Because I know some of you might be newer and you're like, I've never heard an intuitive message in my life. And maybe you haven't and realize it. Well, we could get to that later maybe, or maybe we won't, because I might forget about it. But you might be getting a lot of signs and synchronicities, and like that's guiding you perfectly, and like that upticks, and that's your message from the universe, so to speak, or other people saying things to you that like resonate, as like it maybe vibrate in your body a bit, or give you a cackle, like, oh, I need to do that, or something like that. And for others of you, it could just be direct communication, of course, depending on where you're at. Or maybe it's just if you're going to be getting more information if you're not used to getting a lot, especially if you've been working on that or calling that in. So that's really cool. But that's being streamlined and like upgraded right now. And maybe it always is, because I feel like I get messages like that a lot, which is fine if that's just what's happening. But it's going to be bigger than before, and you're going to have an easy time getting information, which is really cool here. So we're going to close the reading there. Zebra also usually talks about uniqueness, like unique stripes and things like that. That's usually one of the messages that shows up. It's not as important a message this time, but you all have unique paths and like ways you operate, and it's important to honor that and not try to cram yourself in the box of other people's roles in the world, things other people are doing that it seems like that's what you want to do, but maybe Source says something else that's better for you out there, etc., which is kind of a hint for everyone, I guess, if that is landing for you a little bit. And you know, maybe there's something someone else is doing, you're like, oh, I would love to do that, and that is right for you, but maybe it's like a little bit different, or you're just doing it in like a new way, or what's the, not pilgrimage, the words escaping me, so it might not be important right now, but pioneering was the word, that's it. But try not to judge your path compared to another right now, or pigeonhole yourself in a box like, oh, the only way to spread light is, like someone might pigeonhole themselves in a box, for example, by thinking the only way to spread light is becoming a Reiki master or something because their friend said so, or whatever. But it's like maybe there's a million and one, maybe there's infinite ways to spread lights. You know, maybe you could become a world famous boxer and somehow you spread light with that, maybe with the intentions you set before the match. Very strange example showing up, but that's fine. And the reason they're bringing that through in part is that so you don't judge your path and you're open to what Source is bringing to you that might be different than what others have, but it's like better for you. Does that make any sense? So not to judge their path or what they're doing either. And if it's similar, that's cool too. It doesn't really matter. And that's also not to get you to second guess yourself. Trust your intuition, regardless of where you land with all that, please. Last thing showing up here is like this cruise ship. So what's up with the cruise ship here? You know, some of you just need a vacation. Like some of you need to take a trip or just staycation, whatever it is, even if it's like a couple days. If you feel overworked or just like tired like all the time, it might be time to look into taking a break for whoever is resonating with that, because that came through kind of, again, you know, we kind of heard something about taking breaks there a second ago. And, you know, if you haven't had a chance to take rest, like I feel like that's coming. But hope that helped, resonated, do whatever is for highest good. We're going to move to the fire signs reading in a second here, after I just kind of say hello to everybody in the chat. It was the collective, Callie. Thank you. And thank you, Yuki and Mariopolis, for letting people know what's going on. That's the way I could say it. So I'm going to take some time to drink some water and say hello to anyone else who showed up. Hi, you're welcome. One, heck yeah. Oh, you jumped up, which is cool too. But 111 is a great number. Leaving for a cruise next Friday. Oh, there you go. That's a good sign for you. Perfect. I hope you absolutely enjoy your cruise and that the energies are great for you and it's a great time for you. Any chance I'll be doing a Reiki masterclass this year? Yeah, I can absolutely schedule another Reiki masterclass this year, probably a little bit later. I did one last November, I think it was October or November. But we can absolutely get another one scheduled because I know there's other people who are got to Reiki too, and we didn't do the Reiki Master yet. So absolutely, you're welcome, Danny Morgs. You are welcome. Play D&D every week. Heck yeah. My kind of people are the words I'm hearing to say. So I'm glad that resonated, Kadesha. That's awesome. I haven't played D&D in a while, but it's been very fun the times I have played it. I'm actually purchasing a cruise in the background right now. Perfect, Cow Tippa. That's awesome. I love it. I love you guys. I love the people who show up for these. I get to meet and talk to. It's a lot of fun. For some reason, the words I want to say as well are just, and it's fine if you are, but if people are judging me for playing D&D, I will receive your judgments and only become more abundant. Which is an access consciousness trick if you're not familiar or are familiar. And now that I mentioned it, they're telling me to talk about it. So here's the thing. I've never really taken any access consciousness like facilitator classes. That's like a modality, by the way. I've watched a lot, if I'm being straightforward, I've watched a lot of their like videos and their audios and things like that. And I've read some of their books and stuff. But one of the things they talk about with like judgment and people judging you is like not resisting or reacting to the judgment or fighting against it and not aligning or agreeing with it, but like noticing it and just like, I guess the way I'll paraphrase it is like being okay that it's there essentially. And like it just passes like through you, not into you or your energies, your body, but like through you. And it's really interesting when you do it because like it does feel a lot lighter energetically. And like you can kind of go around and like you'll pick up on someone judging you at like the supermarket and you'll just be like, okay. And it's actually kind of like fun after a while. But I guess I'll talk about that because I mentioned it and I think some of you are wondering about it. But and you know, if you look up like doctor, access consciousness receiving judgment on YouTube, there might be videos on it where they explain it and maybe that'll be helpful. I know there's some that like different ones of that access consciousness, like what's the word, facilitators or teachers make. So might be something to check out if that resonates for you as something that you would like to work through, is like working through judgments of others. And I don't know why I'm talking about this, but they have a lot of other tools for all that too. So I'm not affiliated with them whatsoever. So, but I'm more than happy to talk about it if it's going to help you guys and move you in the right directions or bring you more tools or tricks that'll help you in your life and make your life greater and better and all that. So that's cool. Other people's opinions of you are none of your business. Yeah, that resonates as true for me. Or the angels showed me pointed at that and said true when you said it. So that works. Because it's all, I mean, I guess to your point further, it's all their stuff anyways, typically. Or it's all other people's stuff that they picked up from other people. So it's not even theirs or yours. So it's even less personal, so. Thank you. I've been thinking about this a bit in the past couple days. Awesome. You're welcome. I hope that helps you. That's true too, Whittaker Gannon. Sometimes other people's perceptions can help you notice your own patterns. That can happen too. Whew. How does it get any better than this? So they are telling me, guiding me, recommending, telling me to start the fire signs reading. So we're going to jump into that. So if you have a fire sign, sun, moon, or rising, this is going to be for you when you see it now, live, or in the future. Here's my fire sign for the fire signs. Haha. I thought of that for like 0.1 seconds before I said it. So it's probably not that funny, or maybe it is. I don't know. Spur of the moment humor can be funny. What am I saying? So if you have a fire sign, sun, moon, or rising, this is for you when you see it. I'm going to be channeling messages from my spirit guides, the angels, and source. For you now, like what you need to hear, what would be for your highest good, what would help you for your highest good right now. And my intention, of course, is that it is also fully accurate, because otherwise, what am I doing? I'm just wasting people's time, kind of, right? But to give you a window into my thinking for a second there, but just for a second. So let's start and see what comes through for you for your highest good. They're showing me this chinchilla and like this hedgehog for the start of your reading, and then they go to like fight in like this weird like fighter video game, like the ones where it's like two people on either side of the screen and they kind of like walk back and forth and do special moves and stuff. So let's see what the message is for you here. I do get that you're winning the fights in your life. This is actually meant to be a positive message as well. It's not meant to be like negatively destructive or anything like that. It could be like fights against your patterns or fights against your wounds that keep you, I don't know if I want to put it on you that they keep you small, but the words I'm hearing are like fight against your wounds that would otherwise maybe keep you smaller or keep you from taking action. And you're going to win the day in your life, whatever that means to you right now when you're watching this. And you're going to be winning more this year, which is fantastic, whatever year you're watching this. So that's really, really cool too. You have a lot better coming than you realize, even through and regarding things you're worried about right now, whether it's relationships or job situations. Like just better is coming through those avenues than you expect, which might be why they're turning up. Sometimes something turns up and we're worried about it, and we're worried about it. And we're worried about it. And we're worried about it, but it's like a way that source is blessing you just through a situation that kind of worried you. So for example, the example I'm hearing to say is maybe your mother's coming to visit and you're like, oh, my mother always judges me and she always makes comments about my boyfriend or whoever you're dating. And she always, and your mother might not be like this, is just an example. And then she always does XYZ. And then it's just like, maybe she's a lot more chill this time, or maybe those things kind of happen, but it's like not a big deal because you've grown. And she like cuts you a check for like $5,000 randomly because she feels like it, or she won the lottery or something. And then you're like, oh, cool, $5,000. So it's like source is bringing you like what you need or things you desire through avenues you don't expect that you're worried about, which is probably one of the best things you could hear, or one of the better things you could hear about those things anyways. So I like that. I think that's, well, that is going to turn out well, so that's cool. Elephant, spirit animal, is showing up next for you, and usually that's about obstacle removal. Usually that ties in with Ganesha, the Hindu deity of obstacle removal. So let me see what's going on this time here. It's weird because there's this elephant and he just sits down on a person, but the person this elephant sits down on is like a person or a group of people, I guess, that are like wishing you ill. And I'm not trying to like scare you with this, so bear with me for a second, but it's like could be family members or people who don't even want to wish you ill, but they are on some level, or ex-friends or anything like that. So it's kind of like, or like frenemies even, which no thank you to frenemies for me, universe, but it's kind of like these people can't harm you even though you think they can, or you're like afraid of, if you're afraid of people wishing you ill or anything like that, like in the background of your life, or you're afraid of things crumbling in your life because people who wish you ill are praying against them or something ridiculous. It's like God is not going to grant prayers that are against you. Like that would be very silly of source to be like, oh yeah, I'm source, I'm unconditionally loving and infinitely intelligent and infinitely wise, I'm just gonna let all these bad things happen because people are asking me to do them to you. It's like source is a bit, if not infinitely more discerning than that. So if you're worried about people praying against you, for whoever this is for, you don't need to worry about that. It might be helpful if you're keeping your nose clean as far as the divine is concerned. But I don't feel like that's a big deal right now either, which is good. But all this to say, you're going to be fine regarding any one or thing wishing you well or whatever the heck is going on there for you, which is good. And if that was like your obstacle, or maybe your obstacle is like what people think, and we just talked about this before the reading, but what people judge, and like I feel like that's going away, or it's not as much of an obstacle as you think, so I would rejoice about that, which is really cool. The other thing elephant is kind of doing is, if circumstances have been a little bit intense in your life, even just like your internal world, but not in a way that you're like happy about, he's shooting this water out of his or her, or its trunk, their trunk on you to kind of cool off the unnecessary burdens or like heat you're going through. It's kind of an interesting message, but anything that's unbearably hot in your life, like that might be like torturous even on some level, even if it's just like internal emotions or negative spirals or something like that, that's being cooled off for you, which is fantastic. But anything else on that? it's just going to get better is what I'm getting. And you're being divinely supported to drop a lot of burdens right now, which is cool here. It's kind of like you reach the end of a journey as well. They showed me like the Ten of Wands tarot card really briefly while I was bringing all that through. And that can also signify the end of a journey, that card, and like putting those burdens down. So it's kind of like you've reached the end of a journey where you don't need to carry certain burdens anymore. And that's part of why it's cooling off in a positive way for you, which is great. Next thing they're showing me is this block of ice. They're showing me The Legend of Zelda, the game like Breath of the Wild, or maybe it's Tears of the Kingdom, one of the recent ones. And like there were certain instances where you would deal with ice, of course, but to your advantage. Let me see what this is about here. I feel like one of the other messages coming through is like Source is going to bring you a lot of things right now that are actually resources and like boons and great things, but it's kind of like IKEA furniture. It comes to you in pieces. So you might get a lot of things you don't know what to do with at first, that it's actually like everything you need to make your dreams come true, but it's like the starter kit or something, or maybe not starter kit, but the kit to build it, you know, or something like that. So you might get like this friend over here, this business idea over here, this like series of information or course over here that someone just gifts you or something, and you're like, what do I do with all this? But it's like if you sit with it for a second or just kind of live your life, it kind of gets drawn together magnetically in the right ways to be what you've been asking for. And you know, another example would be like if you started dating someone and they weren't like exactly who or how you wanted to date someone in the first place, but then they like become that person after a year or something, and like you're like, why am I being guided to keep dating this person? And then it's like, oh, and like, by the way, be a little bit discerning with that message there, because that's something that if you are intuitively guided and you know what you're about, that would probably make more sense. Because the last thing I want you to do is like, well, Brandon said maybe that this person who drinks beer all nights and only watches the Bear football reruns and treats me terribly might turn into the man of my dreams in like 12 months. And it's like, if you're intuitively getting yes, maybe, if they're not, you know, being terrible besides that. But so trust your discernment and intuition on that. It's like a quick sidetrack that maybe I didn't need to go down. It's like, it's more like if things are like, okay, or like good, but you're like, this isn't everything I asked for. But Spirit's like, just hang in there, and then it like transforms into something. Bear with me. Okay, you get it. I'm sure I said enough that makes sense by now. But coming back to the message is like, you're getting all these things that can turn into your dreams are really good things. So don't poo-poo some of the things that come your way that aren't exactly what you're asking for, or it seems like a piece of it, but you're like, where's the rest? Like that's coming, or you'll be guided on how to put that together to have what you desire, or it'll all just kind of come together in the right ways at the right times, as long as you're following your intuition or doing your best with all that to do that. Or if you're like not sure how that all will work, you could be like, okay, Source, if that's what's going to happen, like I ask that it all come together with ease. I know what to do with it. Please guide me through it. Please have it come together perfectly for me. Thank you so much. And maybe you can try to ask for the pre-built IKEA furniture metaphorically as well, but no promises on that because of the first message. So overall positive message. It's more just keeping an eye out for like, how might this thing be serving me, even if it's not exactly what I asked for, or I'm not sure why this is showing up or what to do with it. And it's probably going to be a positive thing. It's just going to be like weird and like seem like out of place. And you're just like, what do I do with this red sweater or something like that? I don't know. So hope that all makes sense. Let's move on to the next thing. They showed me this feast. It's like a dining banquet, like after a wedding, you know, like at the reception. And in this intuitive visual, the bride is like, oh, I have an announcement to make. And then the bride is like pregnant, but that like means that her and the groom probably had intimate adult relations of a physical nature before they got married, and half the like family of the groom side is flabbergasted. Bear with me, this is going to make sense as a message in a second. And it's an example, it's a message, so bear with me. And like the other half are like, oh, good for you, we're happy, who cares about social customs. And the question is like, what makes you happy? What sets your soul on fire? What's the right move for you? Because there are so many things that society has got, if you will use the word wrong, like wrong, or incorrect. But they think they got it right because everyone believes it, but they actually don't. They just think that because everyone else seems to think that. Does that make any sense? So it's kind of like, what's the right life for you, regardless of what anyone thinks? Because if you have the right thing for you that works and clicks, everyone's going to look at that. And this is meant to not keep you away from it and like be jealous because you have something that actually works when they were sold all these things that don't, but they think it does because everyone says it does, but that actually doesn't. Does that make any, hopefully that all makes sense to you. Because I know I'm using a lot of different words and blah, 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 blah. But really what they're trying to say, to simplify it, is what makes you happy, go that way. Who cares what anyone thinks? Because they probably think they're all wrong anyways, and they probably all think that they probably don't have lives you would want, is the other thing I'll say too, when they're operating from that judgment and that like do what society says or else kind of plays. Otherwise their mom will hate them, but their mom's been dead for 5 years. And so like, what? You know, it's kind of like a nonsensical paradigm that maybe a lot of people have fallen into. So don't care what anyone thinks, do your thing. Trust me, that will like start to turn the key in the pages for other people as well who see that, and that will start to break down the societal programming as people who go against it because their intuition says to, or their dreams, their hopes, their desires, their heart, their soul goes against it, and they have what they truly desire. That like just opens for the highest good the possibilities, the doorway for other people to just have better themselves, and it starts to break down the negative aspects of society. Even if you're just one person and you're an example for 10, like that's enough, because the one that affects consciousness, if that makes any sense, or like maybe the consciousness of people, which I might not be saying this perfectly, so bear with me, but it affects people, it affects things energetically, and it helps things. So that's probably the easier way to say it, that you can take and apply in the ways that intuitively make sense to you. So let's move on here. Because this bride turns out happy because she did what she wanted and didn't listen to everyone else, and everything works out for her. Even though people were outraged, they kind of learned a lesson, and their lives will get better because of it if they'll allow it instead of judging everything. So next thing here, and maybe their religious beliefs, you know, shift for the better, and they allow more spirit in this example as well, because this other person spiritually did what they were guided to do, even if it didn't fit like cultural or customs or norms. So next thing here that they'd like to talk about, there's this mound of gold showing up here. I'm not sure what's up with scuba divers and treasure chests today, but we have that showing up as well as an intuitive visual, excuse me. So what else is the message here? There's so much more gold coming to you. There's so many more things that you desire coming your way, which is great. I feel like you're kind of getting a break from the universe or catching a break from the universe. I'm hearing February specifically, but if you're watching this sometime in the future, it could just be next month whenever you're seeing this, because I'm facilitating this live in January. We, spirit team and me, whatever the right way to say it is. And I feel like that's also going to be a burden lifted, which is great. You know, the gold isn't always what you judge it to be, but if you will allow yourself to receive it anyways, you can kind of have anything. So just be open to the treasure life has in store for you. It's just coming in, you're magnetizing it. Nothing you can do. You've earned this gold, so congrats. Very cool. Next thing they're showing me is a pirate ship, but this old pirate ship is like, it's like a ghost ship. It's dilapidated, it's crumbling, and it's barely like hanging on and floating through the high seas, if you will. Not the high seas, the juice, the high seas, the, actual seas, though that'd be kind of funny. Whatever. So I didn't need to say that today. What's up with this message here? So I guess I'm kind of getting it in the form of a question where it's like, what are you holding on to that you don't need to hold on to, that if you were to let go of it would allow the best to come in for you? Because it's kind of like there's like just one person. I guess it's not a ghost ship if there's a person, right? But there's like a dog on here. There's like it's like a golden Labrador kind of thing, or like a yellow lab maybe is what it looks like. And then there's like a person, like you, it's representing you, like maybe you stepped onto this ship from like a speedboat because you thought it's what you wanted, but it's not. It's like a weird visual I'm getting as well with all this. But if you let go of it and just kind of step back onto like the track you were on, like it gets a lot better or something like that. So anywhere you've done like something like that, or it feels like that, or something's coming to your mind or intuition, like along those lines, just see what you can do to get back on like a track you were on that was serving you better and like a lot faster. But the other thing it's just mentioning is like there's something you are like holding on to or clinging to, and like that's the only thing holding the ship together. And otherwise you'd have like a much better option show up. Like as if the ship cracked apart, it would like show that there's like this jet ski or sea-doo or wave runner, you know, right there that you could use to get to shore or get to your next destination or whatever. But you don't see it because you're clinging to the ship and trying to like hold it together or something like that. So you don't drown, which is understandable, but you actually won't drown if you let go. So whatever you're clinging to or holding on to, sorry, it's taking a while to get to this, that you don't need to hold on to, please ask to let that go. And like the better option will present itself because it's right there. You just need to jump off this go ship and like get in your jet ski. It's all fueled up, or step back on the speedboat, whichever resonates more for you. And you'll be on your merry way to better. So anything old or decrepit, anything that's not working, anything you just feel like you are at your wit's end trying to keep together, maybe there's something better, I guess I feel like I didn't say that right. But you get it by now, so let's move on. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep repeating myself. They're showing me this cantaloupe next. They're showing me like a honeydew melon. There's a watermelon. There's all these melons, and it expands into vegetables like kale. And it's all of a sudden it's a grocery store and like the produce section. So let's see what is going on here. So they're kind of turning it into a different way of providing this message, I suppose, but I don't want to speak too soon on that. But to tell a story, I guess. Once upon a time, I used to work in the produce section of a grocery store. Underpaid is what I'm getting. Didn't maybe think so at the time, but what I'm getting now is I was. And I think everyone in that store, excepting maybe the store manager, probably was underpaid, as a lot of retail spaces do. Maybe not as, yeah, I think they still do. I know they're raising wages a lot of places, but you know, they were kind of showing like someone working in this produce department, like, oh, I'm meant for so much more, but like you're just in the back, like cutting vegetables, and like it's almost like a Disney princess song, like, you know, like when will I have my Tim or something like that. And the question again, the kind of, it seems like in line with the other one, but it could be different as well. It's like, what are you holding on to where you deserve like so much better? And like, you know that you do, either intuitively you've been told this or you will be, or you just know it mentally, or you've just had that thought recurring in the past week or so. Like, I deserve so much better than this. Like, why am I doing this? It's kind of time to let go in that area and start looking for something better, whatever that is. You don't have to jump ship right away and do anything like tragic and treacherous or like dangerous to yourself financially or anything like right away, but you can at least say like, okay, how can I begin to move to something that's more along the lines of what I deserve in a better way, you know, or something like that. Because it's kind of like sometimes we, again, cling to things out of safety, but we deserve so much better. So and you know, like on the flip side, for anyone of you who need to hear this side of things too, like sometimes we're kept in a place because we're about to meet someone important to us, you know, in a month or 3, and that's going to kickstart our journey in some other way. Or, you know, sometimes we're kind of, there's reasons that are divinely guided and orchestrated. We're kept in a place that doesn't make sense to us. And then it makes sense like later down the line or a few years down the journey, you look back, you're like, oh, if I hadn't met this person, then I wouldn't have had this, this, and this, and I wouldn't have had this awakening, and I wouldn't be, you know, at this great place now, or with this great person, you know, whatever it is. So keep that in mind. But for the rest of you, it's like, if you know you deserve better, I would start calling that in and looking for it. And if you're meant to stay there for a time, like going to better will get blocked temporarily until you get what you need from that place. Or if something gets blocked, you might just be a better way out of that circumstance, whatever it is. So keep that in mind as well. Just sometimes you're meant for just, and it's not to denigrate those positions either. Like I know it's kind of showing up as like retail position, not good enough, you know, or something like that. I'm not trying to say that, but it's more like if you know you're meant for something more or different or just unique, and like that's just not cutting it for you and what your soul came here for, like that's enough, you know? So keep that in mind. Okay, next thing they're kind of coming to here as a message or getting to, we're still in the grocery store in this visual. So what's up here? Anything that's too hard on you, it's time to walk away from, is another just direct message coming through for you guys. It could be too hard on your body. like a form of physical work that is just starting to take its toll or like really taxing you, and you've known for a while it's going to wreck your body, but you keep staying there for some reason, whether it's because of security or something else, it's time to look into maybe something else that's going to be easier on you. Or if it's like just too mentally taxing or just like really hard on you in some way like that, like it's time to look at, potentially time to walk away is just the very direct message I'm hearing. So consider that. At least munch on it and see what else is possible for you besides that really taxing environment or thing. And yeah, if you have kids, you probably can't like run away from your kids. Sorry, parents. but maybe it's just something else they're talking about, or maybe you can hire a babysitter once a week or something, to help you out. Just not that there's anything wrong with your kids, but just, I don't know. You get it by now. So next thing they'd like to get to here is like this, there's this golden fruit that they're showing me, which is really interesting. So it's actually like unexpected surprises. Like if you cut open a watermelon and it was made of solid like gold, like the metal, you'd probably, one, I don't know if you'd be able to cut it open that easily, but two, you'd probably be very surprised if that happened. And it's kind of like things like that where you're expecting normal, but you get really positive surprises. Like that's going to be cool. So a lot of surprises from source to kind of keep you going and keep you on the right track. So if you're going a certain way and you get a lot of positive surprises, like that's one of your signs to keep going that direction is something I'm getting as well. Like if you start a job and you're hesitant about it, but then it's like all these great things show up, you're like, okay, I guess I could do this job for a bit more, something like that. So that's cool as well. So I hope that helped and resonated. We're going to close that reading right there. They're showing me this emerald to kind of close it out as well. And I'm not sure if any of you have either seen the movies. I actually haven't seen these movies yet, or played the games, but like the Sonic the Hedgehog, like movies or games, I used to play them as a kid. It was fun. But there's this like gemstone in the games called like the Master Emerald or something, and it's this big point of plot and contention typically. And they showed me that for a second as well. It's like maybe a sign for some of you, along with some of the characters from those movies and that game. So let me see like what's up with all that. What the message is for you. It's actually a message about plot twists, interestingly enough, but they're positive. So some of you are just expecting, or maybe a lot of you are expecting this year to suck for some reason, for whatever reason. I don't feel like it will overall. I hesitate to promise everything's going to be perfect, but I also hesitate to limit it and say that it can't be. So may the highest and best show up. What if it could be perfect or better? What would be the best results and circumstances? What would it take for all that to show up, that or better? There we go. We're ahead of the curve now. We're asking for things. But give me 1 second to really... So what's up with the positive plot twist here? It's kind of tied in with the treasure message we just had. There just are a lot of positive changes coming in, especially if you've been doing your work on yourself or on your life or doing your work to change things for the better, even if you feel like it's rigorous or it's a lot, or you're adding a lot of daily habits and routines to change things, like keep going, keep working on it, like you're making progress. Some of you, if not all, maybe all of you in some way, like I'm hearing something about changing the world as well, if it's something to do with your business or work you're bringing to the world, or maybe it's just a work on yourself and that's having a positive impact on the community around you and having a ripple effect, or maybe as above, so below, like directly impacting things, which is fantastic. Keep doing the work on that because that's working. But I just feel like the plot twist is like things are going to be going well, funny enough, and or just better. So I love that message as well for those plot twists and things like that. So keep going, keep working on yourself, keep looking to make positive changes. Like you'll be redirected where you need to, but a lot of plot twists you don't see coming that will lead to good places. So hang in there with all that too. So hope that helped, resonated, whatever was for us. Good. We're going to move to the Earth Signs reading in just a second. But it's so good to see you guys here. It's good to be back after a couple weeks too with the live. You're welcome, Tara. You're welcome, Simone. Thanks for letting me know it resonated. You're welcome, Ganesha. Love the Sonic reference. Thank you, Simone. I knew someone would love it. You're welcome, William. wishing you well out there. Thank you, Annie. Oh, Canada, you are very welcome. Glad to hear it. No, I don't want to click on that profile. Hey, Abundance Love Joy, good to see you. Perfect timing, Jack. Ooh. Hey, Kaylee. Been checking for your lives. Well, that means a lot. So happy I caught you this time. Me too. It's cool that you're here. Yeah, I've been kind of, well, the universe had me kind of take a break the past couple weeks just because of the circumstances. Excuse me. Because a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh, I could do, well, actually, first I asked like, oh, what would it be fast good for me to go live tomorrow? And they're like, no. I'm like, but I want to. Like, I could do a cool Christmas Eve live, and we could do this cool Christmas Eve theme about what's coming in as gifts from the universe or something. And maybe I could do something else similar to that with a different theme. Anyways, a different time. And they're like, nope. And then I was like, oh, I have to go see family for Christmas Eve, of course, or something like that. And then I was doing traveling stuff on New Year's Eve, so it didn't work out to go live at the same time I was on the airplane. So we have not. You look refreshed. Thank you, Eternal Soul. I feel refreshed. And taking a bit of a break. We've only facilitated the collective and fire signs so far. So we still have earth, air, water, and the full channel, and perhaps the guitar. Thanks, Moon. Appreciate it. Stepping up my game. Perfect. Happy got off work hour. All right, they are recommending we start the Earth. So if you have an Earth sign, Sun, Moon, or Rising, this is meant to be for you whenever you see it, now live or in the future on the YouTube. The tube. So I'm going to be channeling my spirit guides, angels, and spirits for you. Just whatever you need to hear, whatever would be for your highest good, whatever would help you for the highest good. And I'll say it because they're having me say it. Of course, my intention is it's fully accurate, because otherwise, what am I doing up here, over here on this side of the screen? And I suppose let's start. So let's see what comes through for you today. And if it matters for me to say it, I work with my intuition on this too, of course, but maybe that was implied. So they're showing me this dung beetle rolling a rock. It's reminding me of Sisyphus, I think, Greek person. I don't know if he was a real person, but the story where he has to roll this boulder up a hill over and over again for a long time. So the question for you is, where are you burdening yourself? I'm not calling you a dung beetle, by the way, but where are you burdening yourself unnecessarily? And how can you drop that boulder and let it roll down the hill? Because it's like, that's not your sentence, like being sentenced to something. That's not your sentence from the universe. Like, you're not meant to always be stressed out, even about finances. You're not meant to always be taking on other people's stuff for energies. If you're taking on other people's stuff for energies, you're not always meant to be trying to save the world 24/7 all the time by whether you're taking people's stuff on or whatever you're doing. It's okay to take a break from that, or take a break from quote unquote saving the world or helping people, and be like, what do I need right now? And what will it take for me to have a better life, instead of sentencing myself to rolling this boulder up a hill or across these lands or whatever. Because it's like this dung beetle is getting away from its purpose a bit more than it realizes, and a bit too much, when it starts to take on all these burdens that it thinks it has to save the world or help people, when it really doesn't have to. It just kind of needs to stay in its lane and do its thing and do enough, and then take care of itself and its own needs, and live its life to its best of its ability. And I'm not trying to get you to play small or anything like that. That's the last thing I'm trying to get you to do. Because you actually playing in your lane could actually be you playing bigger in the world than your current reality, if you're either suffering through other people's stuff, is the way I'm hearing it, or metaphorically rolling this boulder over and over and over again when you don't have to. It's other people's problem. It's it's not yours to roll in the first place, and you're not actually helping the world as much as you think by doing it. Maybe you're sort of helping, but it's not like what you think it is. So how can you drop other people's burdens? What will it take for that to happen? How can you, in the best ways for the highest good, stay in your lane and serve your purpose and yourself in the world in the ways you're meant to? And what would it take for that to show up? Because that is going to be a lot better and a lot lighter and a lot freer. And personal freedom is also, for everybody here, not just the earth signs, personal freedom is something I would definitely head towards in the next year or so, or maybe even just the next rest of your life. And that's not meant to be a sentence, but something to consider is like, where can you develop, call in, manifest, create, have more freedom for you in the best ways? Whether that's freedom of time, freedom by having more finances, so you have more breathing room and you can, or maybe all the breathing room, you can just book trips and do whatever you want, or things like that. Like whether it shows up like that or some other way, or maybe it's having relationships where you have more freedom, because they're not like trying to control you or something like that. And I'd argue you could maintain your freedom anyways, as long as you're not giving your power away in all that. If you have to kind of dance a little bit with certain acquaintances and weird power dynamics and struggles right now, like you can work through that and move away from that at the right time or manifest something different. But I'm going on an interesting string here and tangent. Hopefully it's all still resonating, but I'm just kind of just following the energy on that. Anyways, coming back to what they'd like to say here, you're going to be doing so much better if you're just doing your thing. So try not to take on other people's roles you don't have to and things like that. So next thing they'd like to get to here, it's like once this dung beetle stops taking on other people's issues, it like transforms into this like majestic unicorn and its true purpose is unveiled. And it gets to be like the lord of the mountains and the forests and something like that, or like it gets to like rule over the lands, but for the highest good, in a way that's of source and divinely guided and orchestrated. So you have so much more for you when you stop doing other people's stuff, whatever that is, whatever that means to you intuitively as you're listening to this, because those are the words I heard. And that's going to be really great. Like you're meant to be this majestic unicorn, not this imprisoned dung beetle. So have hope, not to denigrate the dung beetles, because those are interesting too, and every creature serves its purpose, and we don't need to judge each creature or what it does, because it does good things for the world. But you understand what I'm saying, metaphorically and symbolically and all that. So what else would be for that good to get to for you next here? So now that we're with this unicorn here, I feel like you've been holding your magic back for other people, and your job is to unleash it and do whatever you can to unleash it and not imprison it. Because one, other people don't care as much as you think that they do if you're quote unquote more magical than them, or more successful or abundant or whatever this is, or you have a better love partner and like you might be worried your friends will be jealous, like or you might just have weird stuff that comes up around certain areas, whether it's abundance or magic or success or anything like around those areas. Or like manifesting power or healing prowess or, I don't know, following on social media. So try not to keep that under wraps. Try not to keep yourself small. It's very important you're shining as an example and lighthouse instead of diminishing that role by trying to play smaller than others so they feel better, but actually keeping them in arrested development because they need to see your example so that they can shine too and become what they're meant to be and all they're meant to be if they feel called to that, because they might just be happy for you, some of them, instead of like upset, and maybe some will be upset, and that's okay. So how can you shine more? How can you unveil and unleash your magic more this year and beyond? How can you become who you're meant to be are all questions I'd be putting out to the universe and like asking the universe to manifest for you the answers. Does that make sense? So I'm also kind of asking those questions, one, because they're guiding me through it. That's what I'm being guided to say. But two, because that can kind of like asking those questions can like unveil the answers or like manifest them showing up. Does that make sense? Or start to bring that energy to you, and I don't want to limit it. Whatever would be for that skin. But those would be questions I'd be asking and things I'd be manifesting, if that makes any sense. Not playing small, unleashing your magic, all that. Even like your manifesting is one thing that's specifically coming up, because it's like that's gonna be really important, and it's almost like a skill. So if you've been holding back on your manifesting because you're afraid of having these things that people might judge you or dislike you for, stop doing that. It might be your role or like even part of your mission to have these things to show people something else is possible, or to unveil more possibilities for yourself or others, or it could be healing ancestral patterns that you came here to heal. Does that make sense? Or soul things or whatever. So however that all works. Next thing they'd like to get to here. Let's see. They're showing me ice cream. There's a couple different flavors. There's like this rainbow sherbet. There's this mint chocolate chip mint green ice cream. There's this, I don't know if you've ever had the So Delicious like coconut milk ice cream. It's actually pretty good, but that's a side note. But that's kind of showing up as well, like just a vanilla flavor there. And it's a message about treating yourself, and sometimes how if you treat yourself first in an amount that makes sense and in an amount that resonates for you, can also have the universe treating you as well. Like if you kind of treat yourself and give to yourself, it's like the universe is like, oh, hey, you're receiving for yourself. Okay. And then I'll kind of give you things. And that might not be literally exactly how it works. I'm kind of paraphrasing and giving you a message to get you to treat yourself and give to yourself. If you'll receive it that way, perhaps. But I would be treating yourself a little bit, and like you deserve it. And you might be, if you're worried about money or something like that, for some of you, it'll come back to you. And that's not financial advice. Don't rack up all your credit card, amounts and all that. Just, in an amount that makes sense. Like if you've been wanting to treat yourself with something that you can afford, that feels right to you and that your intuition agrees with, I would just kind of do it right now, because it's actually helping bring more your way, and it's helping that flow of abundance flow to you instead of like evading you like a rock in a stream. Does that make any sense? Like they're kind of showing it to me like that, because like you're actually receiving for yourself, so like you'll like receive that stream of abundance instead of like having it go around you, is a weird visual they're showing me. So and like honestly, the stream of abundance is trying to give to you. It's trying to like get things your way. It's just like, will you do what it takes to receive that? Will you allow that? Will you give to yourself first so you can receive that too? Are things I'm hearing, weirdly enough. Kind of an interesting message, but I hope that helps you. So we're going back to this like ice cream, and it's like there's this like unicorn flavor that's showing up now. So again, we're going to reiterate this, but anything you can do to call magic into your life, for you, for your world, even if you just like buy a unicorn stuffed animal and like that's your intention for magic, and maybe that's unicorn spirit animal trying to help you out too, or something like that, or things that represent magic to you, like buy a wand from a metaphysical shop if you're into wands, or I don't know, there's like no affiliation. There's a company called Twisted Sage that makes interesting like wands and energy tools too, that if you feel drawn to that, maybe you can check that out too. But a lot of different things you could look at. So whatever symbolizes it for you, maybe you just throw, I'm torn on it. I was going to recommend like throwing on Harry Potter or something if that symbolizes magic, but I don't feel like that's as important a message as like something that like symbolizes magic and that energy and like actively draws it towards you, because you're like, hey universe, I'm magical, I'm setting this intention to be magical, I'm setting this intention to receive magic, and I'm ready to be it. Here we go. Something like that. And if you don't have a lot of money, maybe you don't have to buy anything, maybe you can make something, but you understand. Maybe you can just write a little note and intend to be magic. Or have a mantra for magic on your mirror, or something that you say every day. I know that's a tool I'm recommending a lot, but it can work. So when you're, what's the best way to say this? When you're moving the energies in some way every day, calling something in every day and like compounding that intention and that magneticness for that to come in and that like work, it really can move mountains. So I would try it. Whatever you'd like to bring in, like just some form of asking for it or doing work to bring it in or something every day, whatever resonates for you. Put it on your mirror, mantras, all that stuff. So next message is about money. So what's up with this here? Cool message in a lot of ways, but it might be time to work through your judgments around money and like let that go, because you're kind of meant to have money is what I'm getting. And I actually feel like that is all of you, because I think some of you might be like not thinking that's you, which is fine. I understand. But it's more just like, are you willing to let go of your judgments around money or having money? And if you're willing to do that, you can have maybe even as much of it as you want or desire, but perhaps more of it at the very least. I like the other one. I like having as much of it as you desire. I really want, because then you can create so many possibilities with it and do so much with it and help people with it. But whatever. And if you're someone who's really generous, like you're gonna be generous with your money. Like if you're generous tipping the cab driver and you only make like 13,000 a year, like think of what you're gonna do when you have like 100,000 a year or more, millions a year, whatever you're aiming for. And maybe that's a bit of an intense recommendation, but I don't care. Because it's like you'll actually, if you're a good person, you're going to help the world more by having more money, not less. So maybe consider that idea at the very least. So what else would help you out today to hear about, to get into here? I also feel like being who you really are and who you're meant to be is going to help bring in money. So that's something to keep in mind. Some of you are maybe already doing this. That's cool. The next thing they're showing me is a fire hydrant. There's this Dalmatian that was kind of Dalmatian the dog that was kind of peeing on it. And there's like a firefighter and like a firehouse. So let me see what's up with all these messages about all this here. It's kind of about marking your territory. So there are things that are for you that the universe has marked for you. And they're showing it to me as like you are not receiving these things potentially, or you're tempted not to because you think maybe you think it's wrong in some way. Like for example, money, or for example, like these gifts the universe is trying to give you, or maybe it's a love relationship or something like that. And like maybe you think you're not good enough, or maybe you think it's wrong to have this thing, because I know that there's a common thing that people have that is kind of a block to their abundance or money typically, where they're like, oh, how am I supposed to have all this abundance when people are doing poorly in this country or there's war over here? One, you'd probably be more able to help them if it was for the highest good for you to do that, and that was part of your role, if you had money, regarding that particular aspect at least. And yes, you can do energy healing. I'm not going to limit you at all. The other thing is, with all that, maybe the universe wants you to have it anyways because of what you're going to do with it or how it's going to help you have your impact, or just because you deserve it and the universe is like, yeah, I'd like to give to you or something like that. So try not to hold back blessings or good things in any way, shape, or form. If someone's trying to give you something to you, like receive it, even if it's just a compliment or it's a gift of money, or they're like your mom wants to buy you a car or something, whatever it is, like just receive it. Hopefully no strings attached, but no strings attached is what I was hearing initially. It's like, just like don't hold back your blessings. Like you're supposed to have them, it's like if you're supposed to have it, if it's showing up for you, you're supposed to have it if it's a good thing. So keep that in mind too. Like I don't know, they're saying like don't do this, like humbleness. Humbleness is great, honestly. I'm not saying don't be humble. What I'm saying is don't do like an over humility act to where you're not receiving good things because you think it's wrong for some reason. Weird message. Next thing they're showing me is this frog here. This frog has like a lot that's for it. I remember getting a similar visual on a recent live, but he's on this lily pad. He's facing this direction. There's like a few flies, which to this frog signifies abundance and like being taken care of and receiving things from the universe. But like if this frog just turns around, there's like a crap ton of like there's a swarm of flies behind it and like frog food. It's like a smorgasbord. It is a frog feast for days and years and weeks and months and forever. And the message was like, this frog's looking in the wrong places for this feast. It's like, so how can I say this message in a way that's going to help you right now in your life directly, is what I'm going to ask for. If you're doing anything over and over and over again and it's not working to bring in abundance or love or something you'd like, try something new, try a different territory, listen to someone else about that topic. For example, if it's about romance and you're listening to Love Witch 5, I don't know if this is a real person, but it's just an example, like user handle Love Witch 555 and it's not working, try listening to, is the example coming up for me. And I don't even think they have a lot about love, but like try listening to Access Consciousness or Dane here, or try listening to I don't know. I've never listened to Joe Dispenza at all, but maybe just someone else. Try different things, and you can just add it in addition to Love Witch 555 or whatever. You don't have to get rid of that completely if you feel like it's helping, but maybe try bringing some other things in as like tools or resources to help you have what you're trying to have, because that could just be the missing link, or it could help link in some of the missing pieces and the one thing you're trying that's not working that fills it in and allows it all to work, and you have all the flies that you want, if that makes sense. Because sometimes there's just like one thing, that we're missing or people are missing, that if they just tried something new, if they just tried an additional resource, it would like bring it in, like just like that. So, or it would start bringing it in, or start moving the needle, start allowing abundance to come in. So, or whatever it is. So keep that in mind right now. Like, just try new things if something is just not working, because this frog is looking in the wrong places. But the second it turns around or tries something new, it sees all these flies and it's all right there for it. And it can just have as much as it wants. And there's, I don't know, the words I also heard, which I guess is a theme today, no burdens. So that's really cool here. Next thing they're showing me is this lightning strike. Thor, the deity, is showing up. Odin, the deity, is showing. All the Norse mythology deity, not all, but a lot of them are showing up. Like Freya, I think, is one of them. What is the message? So one, weird message, but if a lot of Norse deities are showing up for you as even just like as a sign, it's like a sign you're going in the right direction. Weird one, but whatever. And maybe it's not weird. Maybe it's usually not weird. It's just what it is. But the other thing with all this here is you are receiving a lot of divine support, but it's like not from the figures you are used to. So maybe you're used to working with elk spirit animal, for instance, or like Archangel Michael, and they might still be there and you're still working with them. But maybe, like, for example, like you've never worked with Thor before and Thor is showing up and you're just like, I don't know about this. I'm not sure if I'm a big deity person, that XYZ. And what the universe is saying is, trust how it's showing up. Like, there's a reason those figures or faces of source, if maybe that's not the best way to say it, but it's hopefully moving in the right direction of the understanding of it as source would like you to have it right now, or those aspects of the divine, however it works, it's showing up for a reason to help you, and that's like might be the energy you need, or it's helping you step into a new aspect of yourself you've forgotten about or that you need right now, or you just need new energy to help you get to the new that's coming in for you. The other thing is, what I'm also getting with the lightning strikes is you have avoided a lot of danger with your choices, or things you moved away from, things you moved towards. So pat yourself on the back, even if you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Which you probably do on some level, by the way. But, you've actually avoided a lot of treacherous choices or like danger. So that's really good. And you will continue to if you're worried about that. So don't worry about it. I feel like there's a lot of divine guidance, and I've never seen a message delivered this way, but I feel like it's from like some type of anime, so I don't even think it's how it actually works, but here's how the message is being delivered. It's like there's a lot of spiritual pressure, like keeping negative forces at bay, or like the wrong directions away from you, or the wrong like suggestions. So it's kind of like water pressure or like air pressure, where it's like, how do I describe this? If like there's this like jet stream of air, it's like nothing is actually going into that jet stream of air, because the second it like hits it, it just gets pushed out right away. Or the second something tries to get in, it's just like pushed right out, or like water streams might be similar, where it's like the second it tries to like get in towards the thing, it's just like whoop, repelled. So it's almost like that, where it's like there's this pressure from the divine that's like repelling just all the quote unquote wrong, I guess the wrong things from you, or like negative things. So, or like dangerous things. So that's cool. Even if it's something you're worried about, or like you see it and you're like, oh, what if that thing happens? It's like, a lot of those things aren't going to happen. Like there's a lot, I guess you could say, divinely protecting you, or just redirecting things for your highest good. Even if it's like Tai Chi, like one of my understandings of Tai Chi, I've never learned Tai Chi, is like some of it can just be about redirecting the opponent's momentum against them. And it's not like you're exerting a ton of like force to do it. You're just like, okay, whoop, 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 and then kind of like spin off that way and like trip over themselves or something like that. Or maybe it's redirecting the opponent's energy in some way. And my other understanding is it does have to do like like there's energetics involved with it in some way, shape, or form. From what I've read. So I don't know, maybe you took qigong or not qigong. Maybe that's a sign for you. But maybe some of you took tai chi and like it was like Jock Master 9000 was teaching the class. Like he didn't say anything about energy, but I don't think that's the case. Anyways, Jock Master 9000. Anyway, I was going to make some jokes, but I'm kind of being redirected from it. So I'll refrain here. Next thing showing up is Metatron's cube is showing up here. But it's almost like there to cut chords in a weird way. I'm not sure if that's a way you use that symbol, but I guess there's a lot of sacred geometry around you helping you out. It's just from the divine. So maybe that's something to look into or work with, or just sacred geometry symbols if you feel called to it. For some of you, that's just a sign you're in the right reading or watching the right reading, so that's cool too. The other thing that was showing up, what was it? Because I just forgot. Anyways, they can bring it back if it's important here. Anything else before we start to close this out? So giraffe speed animal was here for a second. And it's about setting your, tall animal, tall. So it's about setting your targets higher. There's been a lot of messages in certain places like talking about that have come through me. Oh my gosh, excuse me. So anywhere you could set your targets higher where you think you're not asking for enough, I would do that, even if it's like financially from the universe or something like that. I think a lot of what this reading has been saying is like you deserve more. Like the universe would like you to have more. And so I would open for the highest good to that and to receiving that and let go of your blocks that are in the way of that, if anything like that, because that's going to be helpful. If blocks even exist, I don't know. We don't have to presume that reality, do we? Which maybe that made some of your head spin, but that's okay. So I'd be setting your sights higher and just like asking for more from the universe right now, especially, I don't know why this is coming up a lot, but financially could be really important. The other thing they're showing me is this like bazooka or this, I forget what else they're called, but rocket launcher maybe. What's up with the bazooka here? You have a lot more potency behind your ask right now and your energy healing. If you're an energy healer, and just like you, I think, than you realize. So now's a great time to set intentions to be doing or facilitating energy healing, or if you do channeling, channeling can, a part of channeling can be energetic in addition to the messages coming through, right? So like they both belong, they're both important and key elements. I would personally never want to sacrifice. I would personally like to be free from sacrificing one from the other. I'd like the full of both, with the work I'm facilitating and whatever else is for the highest good to be there. But you're just a lot more potent than you realize. So don't see yourself as weak and incapable of changing anything, I guess, because it's like source is going to show you like, hey, you're potent. You can do this. You can change anything. Let's go is kind of what I'm getting there. So I'm getting to close the reading. They're kind of showing me this majestic city and these city gates. It looks like something out of Lord of the Rings or maybe even the Wheel of Time book series. I've never watched the show, but I used to love those books when I was like 12, which if you still love them, I'm not saying that, I was like 12 and you're still like reading them. That's not what I'm saying. Because I read them all the way through. Like I think the last one came out when I was like 20 or so. Oh, but I think there's like a city that's all like fancy and like made of ridiculous stone and marble or something, and probably those movies and books and the other series. But what's the message here? The message I'm hearing is that you're just meant for more. So you're not meant to be in this like podunk town with nothing to your name. Like you're meant for the grand city. And you're meant for more. Kind of like we've been saying the whole reading. So I hope that helped, resonated, do whatever was for us good. That felt like it was a little bit longer, but that's okay. Me too, but the show was scary. I didn't finish it. That's fair. We'll move to the air signs in a second here. Happy 2024, Britt. Wishing you well. You're welcome. Ooh, I like that, Jessica Johnston. Maybe that, because I like that question. Like, is it a block? Is it a place that needs more energy? Like, that's interesting. Because, like, that almost leads me to the question. Like, if I were doing something, I'd be like, is this a block or something else? And, like, that could be, like, help lead one to where it is if you do that work. And if I lost you on that, don't worry about it. But for me, it makes sense. Hey, Leo, great to see you. Thank you, Leo. I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. May abundance flow. Jock, I love that. And may it be so. Am I teaching? Well, right now I'm channeling and facilitating readings. I do have classes coming up that I'll be teaching, if that was what you were asking. I have some energy healing classes, and or maybe I think you were just talking about this live, but I have, I don't know, right now I have some energy healing classes coming up this month. I have an intro to channeling class coming up this month that I'm excited about. So I wasn't about to plug those, but I got the opportunity there, I guess. So if any of that calls to any of you, cool. Ooh. When I asked, it was no block. It was like an unused circuit or muscle that needed appreciation. That's super cool. Awesome. Well, I hope that continues to help you and be a cool avenue of doing your work, because that sounds really fun. Ooh, sounds cool to me. I'm like some type of well, I don't know. I hesitate to use these words, but I was going to say something about being like an energy nerd, so I love stuff like that. Can you fill me on what is going on? Yeah, so this is just pretty much a bunch of channeled readings and channeled messages is usually what I'm doing with this. So I'll be doing a channel, like I did a collective reading for everybody. Then I'm doing earth signs, fire signs, air signs, and water signs, not necessarily in that order. So I'll be doing those readings. Then I do a full channel mode message at the end, which I just channel my spirit guides, angels, and source through me directly for everybody. Then sometimes we do energy healing infused, like guitar and music, or just straight up energy healing at the end. So I don't often do straight up energy healing at the end, but so we're going to start the air signs reading in just a second. Hey, Kat. Great to see you too. You're welcome. How can we remove blocks to receiving? What will it take for the blocks to receiving? What will it take for the blocks to receiving to be removed? Ooh. I mean, I guess that's a question you could start asking for starters to help move some of that energy. Anything more on Metatron's cube? I'll see if that comes through. I mean, for a lot of people, it was a sign. Maybe for some of you, it's like a symbol you could visualize yourself standing in to cut cords is something they're showing me, weirdly enough. And is there like, what is up with that? Or it could just be a good energy to work with, that symbol, like just to have around or something, or for some of you, you know, so that's kind of what I'm getting on that for starters regarding all of that here, which might not be much, but I think those are some starting places. Oh, that's super cool. Build a 3D model from straws. That's freaking awesome. That probably looks really cool too. That also sounds very involved. Like say, sure. So I'm just going to ask the angels for the highest good to, and Archangel Michael specifically, I'm getting to ensure Lola, the dog's safe return, to Jessica and the respective parties. So I'm also going to ask the angels to watch over the dog while it's ran off, and that it has a safe and effortless return home quickly, too, if it's for the highest good. Should be in the highest good, so it is. So I hope that dog comes back safely. It took hours. I believe that. That sounds freaking sweet, though. Like, that's so cool. So if you have an air sign, sun, moon, or rising, I'm getting told to begin that reading now. So if you have, though you are always an upbeat person, you seem particularly chipper tonight. Thank you so much. I've been doing work. Just, you know, on myself and my situation. And I think the just kind of the break I've had recently helped too. So, and I've been making shifts that have been helpful. So it's good here. So if you have an air sign, but thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. If you have an air sign, sun, moon, or rising, this is meant to be for you whenever you're seeing it here live or on YouTube. I'm going to be channeling my spirit guides, the angels and source, to bring through anything that would be for your highest good, what you need to hear, what would help you. Just what my intention, of course, is that is what's accurate for you, and I'll be working with my intuition on all that as well. So let's start the reading. they're showing you as like, it's almost like a runner who's crossed a finish line and like they're exhausted and they're trying to catch their breath, like as runners might do after like a sprint or like a marathon, where they're kind of like on their, bent over, they're holding their knees or whatever, just trying to catch their breath and all that. Again, this was in the collective reading, I believe, but there is this message about like just taking breaks where you're overworked and just making sure you have time for you. And that's a key message as well, making sure you have time for you. That can make all the difference between what I'm getting to say right now for you is that can make all the difference between someone who makes it and someone who doesn't. Is like, do they take time for themselves? Do they honor themselves? Do they put themselves first enough that they can show up and have a sustainability to their work or whatever they're doing in the world to succeed? Because some people overwork because they think it'll get them someplace, or because of hustle culture or whatever. And there might not be necessarily anything wrong with hustle culture. I think it's kind of like what works for you. What's the right pace for you? As long as you're still getting results, as long as it's for the highest good, who cares how you do it? But the question is like, what would be enough of a rest for you? What would be enough of a break for you? And what would allow you to operate at your optimum and optimal for what you're doing or where you'd like to go in the world? And like, I'd be asking those sorts of questions right now, because I feel like that's going to help you. And you might, if you have a tendency to overwork in any way, shape, or form, like that is definitely for you, hands down for sure. Because like sustainability is key, and if you're doing things sustainably, you can do what you need to succeed for as long as you need to, until you get there. So keep that in mind right now, whoever is aiming for success and needing more sustainability in their world for sure. Next thing they're showing me is a donut, but they're showing the donut as like a continuous loop, kind of like a toroidal field. Like if you ran around a donut, you just kind of keep running around the donut, and maybe you're not really accomplishing anything. So let me see what that's about as a message regarding the donut here. There are just certain loops that need to end, is what I'm hearing. You know what these are, or you will. If you're confused about this, don't worry about it. It'll come to you probably after the reading sometime, or like tomorrow you'll wake up and be like, oh, that's the thing I keep doing over and over again. It's not getting me anywhere. And it could be like an argument you keep having with someone, or a discussion, or it could be like doing the same thing every day at work or something like that, and it never ends. And it's like, that's one thing, because at least that's bringing money in to sustain you, and it's like, it's serving you on some level at least. But I don't know, maybe it's time to ask for something different, or that's moving you forward in other ways too, instead of like just running on the treadmill. There's nothing wrong with, whatever works for you and your highest good. You get it. But I'm just getting this message about like loops that need to end. That it's like you're always doing the same thing, or you're always getting the same results, or it's like they're also showing it to me as like you're trying to get to a certain website and you keep typing in the wrong, internet address, URL, and you keep getting to the wrong place, but you keep typing in the wrong URL, thinking it'll get you to the right place. It's like, okay, what do you need to do differently here? Like maybe you need to research the right URL. The other thing they're showing me with this like loop or this donut is like this error thing not found or something like that. But then you keep going around it and it's like error thing not found. So what can you do to change that? What will it take for something better to show up for you there? Because it sounds frustrating, and you deserve better than that. So if it's a loop for a person, it might be time to take a step back and be like, is this person like necessary for my life and living? Is this person the best person to have in this role for me right now? Do I need something different or greater? And there's nothing wrong with asking for more, is what I'd say. I think sometimes we're kind of trained into like feeling like we're ungrateful if we ask for more. And you've probably heard some other people talk about this before, but it's entirely possible to be appreciative of what is and at the same time be desiring more or asking for more, or be like content with what is but be moving towards more, even if it's just for fun and the joy of it, and because you feel called to, or your soul feels called to. It's like asking for more doesn't mean ungrateful. It just means you'd like more, and what I'm hearing to say is there's nothing wrong with that, or the words I'm hearing, so that's cool as well. Next thing they're showing me is this like banana sundae, like the ice cream sundae or something like that. So let me see what's up with the banana sundae for you. So they're showing someone orders a sundae for them, and it's like a surprise. It's like for a birthday or something, or it's like their grandma does it, or maybe it's like someone across the restaurant that they were cute and just ordered them ice cream for whatever reason, to date them or something, and to break the ice. Haha, no pun intended. But it's kind of like this person looks at the ice cream and they're like, no, I'll get fat if I eat this. And they like shove it off the table. But it's like this person is like really, really skinny in this intuitive visual I'm getting. It's like they could probably be totally fine if they broke the pattern for a second and ate some ice cream or like indulged themselves or something like that. So, where are you keeping yourself in arrested development by not accepting something that you would actually like to accept? Because I feel like this person in this instance, in this visual, is actually like starving. It's like they could really eat that ice cream, and it might even be like what their body is asking for. Sometimes, like by the way, as a side note, sometimes what our body asks for as far as like food or like just things in our life, it's like way different than what we would like judge as the thing. Like, some of you might be getting sick of this story, but one of my stories is one time I asked my body, like, what would you like today, body? And it's like KFC, which is Kentucky Fried Chicken, which is like a typically judged as unhealthy chain of fried chicken for anyone not in the US who doesn't know what that is. And I was just like, body, we don't eat fast food. We don't like fast food, body. We don't eat KFC. And then the next day I went to a friend's house, and before I went over, they're like, hey, like so-and-so is having a weird day and they want comfort food. Is it okay if we get KFC and can you chip in some money? We can eat there. I'm just like, I see what you did there, body. Here, you got the KFC. You got the KFC you asked for, I guess. So it's like typically my typical like idea, at least mentally, would be like KFC bad, or maybe not literally, but you know what I'm saying. Like it'd be like I wouldn't typically choose that for myself or think my body would want that. But another example was like I was on vacation just recently, sort of, and my body, like I was like, body, what do you want today? I was like, I'd like margaritas. I'm like, what? Like I don't drink very much. I have like beer in my fridge that my dad gave me from this summer because I think I've had like one bottle of the like 18 bottles he gave me that are still like, I still have like I drink like one. I have like 17 more bottles of beer in my fridge from this past summer, like just to give you an idea. But when I did actually drink those margaritas, like it actually felt light and felt really good. And my body's like, oh, this feels great. So it really surprised me because sometimes if for me, if I like force something my body doesn't want, and it's just like, no, I would love this beer with this dinner out or something like it usually feels awful. So it was really interesting how it felt great in that moment when I was listening to my body and my intuition on that. All that to say that, so maybe that's a cool story for some of you, and maybe you can try that in your world, or I don't know, maybe it's just a lesson not to judge things. I don't know. Hopefully that did whatever I was asking for it to do for you. But back to the message that they were getting to originally for you, which maybe that was part of it, is I would try to accept the things that the universe is giving to you, even as like treats, or that you would typically judge as bad. Like maybe it's like a vacation to some place, but like maybe you don't like the city, but the universe is like, no, go to the city. And then you find a really cool crystal shop and someone gets you a really cool crystal. I don't know. Just as like an example. So try to accept the things that the universe is giving you. Okay, let's move on to the next message here. They're showing me a seal, like the animal, the one that goes like ort and like stereotypically and hits balls and stuff and runs away from sharks in the Arctic and runs away from killer whales. And anyways, the message for you with the seals are, what's the message? The first visual they're showing me is the seal like escaping from predators in the ocean. Like there's a shark, like a great white shark. I don't know if great white sharks go down to the Arctic. Someone can shark fact me. Someone can be my shark fact person for today. Designated shark fact lord of shark facts, or lordess of shark facts. But anyways, shark like this is escaping from killer whales, but the seal is almost like it's almost like doing it in its sleep, like it's bored, and it's just like doing this crazy like escape artist stuff from all these like predators that are trying to like this octopus and this other thing that's trying to get to it. So let me see what the message is for you here. I would just kind of try to stay awake in this time period and just kind of keep your wits about you in general, like with the moves you're making and the words you're speaking to others and just like the choices you're making and even like your daily habits and routine. I'd take like a conscious stock and checkup on that. Be like, is this serving me? Is this leading me in the direction I'd like to go? And that could even be the donut we talked about earlier with the loops and things like that, where it's like maybe you have this daily habit of yoga and you've been running this like yoga thing and you're not kind of really getting what you used to get out of it, but your body's like, no, I'd like qigong. I'd like to try qigong. And you're like, no, qigong, like my weird grandma does qigong and this person, I don't know. But if you did it, it'd be like perfect for you right now. It would be exactly what you needed. It would fill you up. It would serve its purpose. And maybe it would even lead to some opportunities for you. You can become a qigong instructor or something. I don't know. But as an example, so I'd really pay attention to your daily habits and just like, are they serving you? Is it doing what it needs to do? Is it leading you towards your dreams and the destination you'd like to head towards? Because I feel like that's going to help you. Because if the seal doesn't, I feel like the seal will wake up. Because I was just like, well, there's predators chasing the seal and it's escaping from it, but it's like falling asleep at the wheel a little bit. But it's like they're just showing it wake up. So I'm guessing you'll just wake up and be fine because otherwise they'd show me something else, right? But it's also kind of a warning for you. It's like, where do you need to bring a bit more consciousness to your reality and to your habits so you can have the life you'd like to have is the question I'm hearing to ask for you, which is great. Next thing they're showing me is a giant squid or giant octopus, like something from like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea or something like that, which I don't think I've seen that whole movie or read that whole book. But what's the message here? You are like bigger than you realize, not necessarily physically. You are like, you can have more results than you realize as well in bigger ways. So it's kind of like another reminder today to stop playing small, to really like ask for what you'd actually like and not just like the smaller version of it because that's what you think you can have. It's like, no, try to go for the gold, for the highest good. Oops, sorry. 1 second. There we go. Button to mute the mic at the top, and I think it just moves into the phone mic anyways, but whatever. So, but you can just have more, I guess is the way to say it. You can be more. So you're not like a mini baby octopus, you're like a giant octopus, but you're like acting like a little puppy lapdog, you know? Like you're trying to crawl onto this like yacht and like sit in someone's lap and you're like, oh my God, an octopus. And and it's like you could like just take this boat and like capsize it, but you're acting like you're a baby something, or I don't know. But that's like you in life is what they're showing me, where it's like you could just have so much more, you could do so much more, you could be so much more if you just realize what you are and like own that and like try to work with that instead of what you project yourself as, or this like 5-year-old, not 5-year-old, but like 5 year ago outdated version of you that you have in your mind that people projected on you or judged you as or something like that. It's like there might be like a bit of updating that would be good for you energetically, or just maybe sit with like, who are you really? Where are you really? What are you capable of now? Or maybe just like manifest this, like, okay, I have to realize what I am and the totality of it, thanks, or something like that. Because there's this message about you can have so much more and you are so much more. And it could be about being potent, and it could be about just like the success you can have in life. Like you can have more, you know, if you start treating yourself as you are and realizing you can have that even, you know, and let go of the stories that you can't. So keep that in mind right now too. That could be important right now. The last thing they're showing me is calamari, which is a weird thing to cut to intuitive visual wise after the last message here. So let me see what's up with this. So the universe has prepared a feast for you, and it's like in your honor, it's specifically for you, but it's kind of like you have to do the work. Like you have to do your work on yourself. You have to do work on your business, for example. You can't just sit there and dream right now. Like what action steps do you need to take? What work do you need to do? And I think there was like a message of, was that for the fire signs or you about rest? And I would still heed that as well as an important message. But, you know, beyond all that, like what work have you been feeling called to do on yourself recently or in your life in a certain area? Just kind of bring better in, or in general, because it's like this feast is like waiting for you, but you have to like pick yourself up off the couch and like get dressed. And then they're kind of showing like I don't know if you've ever seen like the Harold and Kumar, like adventures to White Castle or whatever, like where I'm not saying you have to go through a whole bunch of crap to get to this banquet, but it's kind of like, you might actually like just have to do certain things a little bit differently or do more, or just do certain work on yourself or certain areas to help yourself. And like that's going to help bring this celebration and this winning in and whatever this feast is representing to you, and like abundance and success and all that, or just things you desire in general, you know. So where do you need to do the work? I would just ask to be shown where to do the work, and I would just start doing it, big or small. It's really just right now I just focus on getting started and hash out the details, you know, as you do that, or maybe even after you do that, because sometimes we get course corrected as we take action, but all we have to do is take the step, and then all the information comes our way for the right way to do something, you know, or something like that. So don't be afraid to take action on any of this or try things. Like, it's mentally doing a good direction. So do your work is what I'd say. If you need to hear that, if you need that fire under your pants a little bit there. So they're kind of done with that reading. They are ending it out as we close it out with a frog again here. And what's up with this? You know how frogs can, per my understanding at least, absorb moisture from the air through their skin, depending on the frog and the environments. And the question for you is like, what is your ideal environment right now? Like, where do you need to head to like nourish yourself and to have the things you'd like to have? Because it just might not be entirely where you're at. For some of you it is. And the checkup is just for you to have the awareness of that and like stay in that environment that's working. But for others of you, like this frog is like drying out, or it's like in danger of drying out, and it needs to seek like a body of water or just something else to nourish it. And I definitely wouldn't let yourself be the frog who dries up metaphorically because of inaction. And of course, like, it doesn't mean the end of your life or the end of your world. Like, if you feel like you're messing that up or you have messed that up, it's like the universe usually comes in, and eventually we get to the end of that phase and it changes and we have a chance, or we have second chances. Like, it's not the end of the world, but as this is meant to help you, it's like, what needs to change in your environment? Where do you need to go that's different? What environment do you need to create for yourself that'll be optimal for you to thrive, or would be things I'd consider right now as well. So cruise ship showing up for you as well, but it's kind of like joy is being returned to you. It's a different message than the last one. Like, if you've been losing joy or like lost joy, it's like you have every opportunity to bring that back in this year. This is like your year for joy, which is fantastic. I love that. It's like, what'll it take for you to receive that? What'll it take for you to have that? But I feel like it's coming. So if you get an opportunity that feels joyful to you energetically, I'd move that direction for sure. So hope that helped, resonated, whatever is for your highest good. You know, better is on the way. Most of you are on the right direction. I don't know why I'm saying on the right direction, but I heard it something like that. So that's cool too. So you know what? I'm looking at this, like, I'm kind of playing around with like the signs I have on my table here. And like, I was looking at this crinkle around one of the note cards, and it looks like a heart. To me, like, when hearts show up as a sign, that could be a sign that love is coming. So for those of you who need to hear that, and this is more for the air signs, or even like single for a long time, there is like a big possibility for love coming, is something I'm hearing, if you don't already have that in your life. So, and I know, I guess Valentine's Day is coming in the near future too. So you don't have to like judge that and expect it tomorrow, but maybe do some work to open to that if you feel called to that. It's kind of a side message for some of you who have been like praying for that, or like manifesting that, or working on that. So that's cool. You have love on the way, I guess. So that's cool. Oh, Lordy, Lord. Sorry, I like, maybe one day I'll buy a chair that's like super ergonomic and just like keeps me in an ergonomic position for these readings. Because other than that, I'm just like, and then my body's like, why are you doing this for 4 hours? And so, see hearts all the time? Heck yeah. Cool. So we have the water signs next. I'm going to hang out for just a second, drink some water and stuff like that. Yeah, I hope you guys like my dance and whatever the heck I just did. Okay. And boy, thank you, Spence. Thanks, Leo. How does it get any better than this? For some reason, something I'm getting randomly before we start the next reading is talking about labradorite as a crystal. I have a big one right here, and they were like talking about labradorite as a crystal. So, I'm guessing some of you, what I'm hearing is some of you need that crystal. It could just be like something that helps you energetically. So if you feel like that's you, maybe go grab a labradorite crystal or go buy one or something soon. Order one online. I don't know. Excuse me, wherever you get crystals. So actually, we did talk about this earlier. Like that can be a crystal of magic. Like that can be a symbolism of magic. So if you were wondering what to buy for a symbol of magic in one of the past readings, my understanding is it also helps with intuition and psychic abilities, and it also can help with divine protection on some level. So then there are probably a bajillion other meanings out there that I'm not mentioning as well. So I've been told that before and couldn't find one and ended up with peacock ore. Oh, well, I mean, peacock ore is cool too. Maybe there's like a bracelet that'd be better for you, or like it's not just a conventional. I carry a labradorite in that weird little pocket of my jeans. Heck yeah, that's awesome. What did I miss? Okay, that was funny. That was funny, Spence. um, yeah, I'll show it to you guys. It's this big. He doesn't have a ton of like flash, but he's big. He's like a big tower. I guess he has some flash. I'll try to like maneuver it around. Like you can see some flash there. You can see some flash sparkles on the other side. But he's one that I was guided to get a while back, and I like him. He's fun. He's a big boy. Yeah, he's a big obelisk tower guy. You have a palm one. Ooh, that sounds cool. Yeah, the palm ones can be really nice too. I think I gave all my palm labradorites away, but that's okay. How big is my crystal collection? He chonky. Yeah. Do I only place it near my desk? I've had it in various places and like various, places I've lived, or this is kind of where it's been hanging out recently. My crystal collection is pretty big. It was bigger. I've ended up giving a lot away over the years, or I haven't really sold a lot. I have like a whole bunch that I am also considering giving away too, that I just like because I moved a bunch and then I like found this whole box and I'm like, oh my god, I have a whole other box of crystals I haven't even I haven't even opened and unpacked yet. Like and I already had like I'm running out of room for places in that. I guess I could do things to make more room for them, but so pretty big. It's kind of grown and expanded and changed over the years, but changed out. But no, don't cut your nose. My evening is great, Parker. Hope yours is as well. It's called to apophyllite. Ooh, what does that mean? I love it. Apophyllite. I kind of forget exactly what apophyllite is about. For some reason I remember like ascension maybe. You might want to look that one up. Actually, I'm not feeling. I mean, I could try to channel on it, but I'm not. Nothing came to mind off the top of my head. How do you cleanse that one? Recommend a way to cleanse. Right now I'm kind of keeping it on a symbol that I channeled through, and have been for a while. So, for me, I'll either facilitate energy healing for them, like Reiki or four angelic fires or another modality I channeled through that used to be called Valeumi that I have a new name for it, but I'll tell you about that later. Because I didn't want me to talk about that too much. Like I'll use symbols, I'll use energy healing, I'll just ask the angels to clear them. Like sometimes I'll just be like, okay, angels, please clear this crystal of all energies not for the highest good oh my God. If I can get, easy for me to say, if I can get the words out, angels, please clear this crystal fully for the highest good, bring it to its highest and best state and vibration for me. Please ensure it does whatever would be highest and best for the highest good for it to do. And, you can ask it to be charged to 100%, as well, if that helps. And then you can set the intention it does whatever is for your highest good. And if you are called to it, you can also set the intention it does whatever would be for the highest good for it to do for the highest good of all as well. So that's a little bit wordy, but you can simplify that. But But usually I'll just like ask the angels to clear it. I'll ask them to bring it to its highest and best state and vibration for it and me and whatever purpose it's serving. And I'll ask it to do whatever is for that is good for it to do. Ask them to have it do whatever is for that is good for it to do. So as far as like intentions, and I found that works typically. There have been a lot of times where that's like all I did is just, set that as intentions. And I had a friend who would be like, yeah, you're one of the people, like when you give me crystals, I'm guided that I don't have to clear it. So I'm like, okay, so that works. Not that I didn't think it worked, but and the other ways, like for one that big, I probably don't run it under the faucet water. And you definitely don't want to put like selenite or certain other crystals in water, as is probably common knowledge for the crystal aficionados. But so you kind of want to research and see what's safe to put underwater. But running it under the faucet and setting intentions can be good too. Using tensor tools like twisted sage tools, no affiliation, to kind of charge or clear crystals. I'll do that sometimes if it's easier, or I'll put them around selenites or put them on selenite. So there's a lot of different things I'll do. But those would be all examples of what I would do to clear the crystals and stuff. Yeah, you're welcome. I hope that helps. And I know different people do different things. Ooh, repurpose a china cabinet for my crystals. That sounds super cool. I love that. But those are some ideas, and there's probably other ways. People are like, why didn't you mention the version where you did a backflip? And I don't know. So I'm being a little bit silly with that one. The other thing you could do is sound healing, of course, like singing bowls or the Tibetan bells or whatever else calls to you. Oh, another cool, more niche way to clear crystals. If you have clear quartz points, you can put a crystal in the center you want to clear and just put like maybe 4 or more, like just even like little clear quartz points around it, and set the intention that they clear the big quartz or the big crystal, not just a quartz. And that's another like niche way you could clear crystals as well. That's pretty cool. So hope you're having a fantastic day or evening as well, Samantha. Kanisha asks, are crystals still good if they break? I get yes. Yes, they are. I've seen it happen where like a crystal will break and then it'll be like, because someone else is supposed to have the other piece of it, or maybe one half wants to be buried in the earth as a blessing to a part of the land, and the other half is like for you to keep or something like that. So still totally good, maybe a bit different, but usually there's like a reason for it, so, and it could be different as far as reasoning goes too. Those are just examples. No. Well, that could be a sign for you, Brittany, like cleansing a malachite crystal and it breaks as you're cleansing a money block, where it's like you broke the issue in a good way. It broke and I gave that half to someone. Perfect. You're ahead of the curve. You know what you're doing. So we'll start water signs reading in just a second here. Ooh, I'm gonna stretch. Okay, so if you have a water sign, sun, moon, or rising, we're going to start the reading now. I am going to begin channeling messages through for you from my spirit guides, angels, and source, and work with my intuition. So just to bring through what would be highest and best to be brought through for you, what would be for your highest good, what do you need to hear, what would help you right now, and let's start. And I don't know why, but I'm asking Archangel Michael as well to watch over this reading and preside over it and guide me through it, because I think some of you need to hear me say that for some reason. And just watch over my energies, the energies of the group, the energies of the live. Clear away anything that needs to be cleared away. That would be for that can be cleared away. So okay, that did something. So, and I guess, why am I doing this? They're telling me to do this, but I'll ask Archangel Raphael to help with this reading as well, and help with the crystals in the room, and if you'd like it, help with your crystals you might be holding, and just to do whatever else would be for that's good for the group while we do this reading and while I channel this reading, and may the highest and best transpire. So let's start here. One message, it's funny because we just called upon Archangel Raphael, is that you're being healed right now. You're going deeper into healing, but also going deeper into success as you do. So anywhere you are healing ancestral patterns or wounds, or working on long-standing issues, or just showing up and doing daily cleansing and healing for yourself, or self-work, whatever you want to, whatever it's showing up for you as, whatever it be for you, it's good. That's actually bringing you towards abundance and sometimes what I'm hearing as a message for you is we just need to show the universe we are serious about working on ourselves, and like the floodgates open is what I'm getting to say to you for this reading, for those of you showing up here, whenever you're showing up for it. It's just like we just have to commit to something every day or with some type of consistency and like show up and do that thing, and like then the world is our oyster, if that makes sense, because the discipline and the commitment can really take us a long way. So showing up for ourselves in some way, even if it's just like listening to an audio that helps you like every day, or maybe you switch it up a little bit and listen to some different things. But you know how there are like different people or teachers or facilitators or gurus or all sorts of people, and they recommend like, as part of something to help you, like just showing up and doing this exercise or listening to this thing like every day, or doing this X amount of times every day. I would like select one of those things that resonates for you if you've heard anything like that recently, or if you do in the near future, and just like put it into practice, like try it. Be like, okay, I guess I have, if you have been doing something every day like that, whether it's like a cleansing exercise or something for abundance or anything, like perfect. Just keep doing it, or maybe add to it. But for some reason, there's something about commitment and like discipline with like self-work, self-healing, and like up-leveling your life that's coming through that could really help you right now if you were to enact the right amount of it. Even if it's just like 15 minutes or something short, like 10 minutes or shorter. It's just like those daily practices that up-level everything and compound and bring you to higher and better. I'm going to like take a step back and just double check with what they'd like to say with that further. And they would like to just say like anything of your choosing, anything that resonates for you, any practitioner or facilitator or teacher or guru or whatever. I don't really like the word guru, but that's another story. Personally, like that'll work. It's just doing things that resonate for you every day to help yourself, and like keep doing that, and it's going to move mountains for you. So that's really cool. Next thing they're showing me is like gold, but it's like a mountain of gold. And this has been coming through a lot for people today, but you have so much more for you than you realize, like on this earth, as far as abundance, as far as even things like success. And you just have to do the things every day that are going to help you bring it in. Like that's like the only caveat is what I'm hearing. So it's like, are you doing those things? If yes, awesome. Keep doing those things. Keep checking in intuitively. Okay, do we keep doing this? Is this working? If not, it's like, okay, what can you start doing? Because it's like the world's your oyster once you start doing it, and opening up these pathways to abundance through your self-care, your self-work, and working on yourself. Maybe it's even like working on your business or learning about your business if you have a business or something like that. Could be a number of different things, but it reminds me of like a reading that I got from someone a long time ago. And they're telling me to tell you, where it was like, and they phrased it a certain way that was specific for me and my journey at that time. But they phrased it as a way that was like a commitment to the divine energies. And for me, that could be like the channeling, or that could have been the divine energies that were flowing through me. I'll tell you this because it might be a good example for you in your own life in some way. Maybe not this literally, maybe, but maybe something else. It was like, I think at some point, like I'd started posting full channel mode videos on YouTube, but this was like early. This is like on my like original YouTube account that I'd posted like metal guitar covers of Pokemon songs on. Like this was like before I had the Channeling Zorus YouTube account, which is not even like that account currently has like a bajillion subscribers yet, but still, this is like before 2020. And one random person had commented like, oh, like I love the constant divine energies you have flowing through you. I'm like, oh, cool. And then like when it came through in that reading, I was like, oh, that's like a hint. That's like that, talking to that in some way or something along those lines. And so the reader was talking about, for me, doing something every day that was a commitment to the divine energies, whether it was lighting a candle or saying a prayer or whatever it was. And I think I chose something specific, and just like doing that every day as that commitment. But this message for you that's coming through for you is more of like a commitment to you and like your self-worth and like what you're willing to have, which has been coming through a lot today, and what you'd like to create. So it's like a commitment to your abundance in yourself, but it's like through your self-healing and self-practice like that. So if I haven't said this enough today with this reading, do things like that come to you or are being handed to you by the universe, maybe through other people, other readings, other teachers, spiritual teachers, facilitators, etc., to help you out here. Next thing they'd like to get to for you here is I do get that abundance is on the way. Like it just is. Like just keep doing what you're doing regarding all that. Like I feel like it's working, so that's fantastic. There's also like a rewrite of your abundance and or a rewrite of you and even your reality, even regarding like success or maybe even like your energies happening in like a very positive way. So I like that because it's like uprooting all the things that are holding you back, and it's completely rewriting like how things, what's the best way to say this? It's rewriting how things are working for you in a way that's not for your highest good, so that they work for you in a way that is for your highest good or better, or that and better, or something like that. So there is like an abundance rewrite, maybe it's a you rewrite, it's an energy rewrite, a reality rewrite, which is super cool. So if you feel like you've been doing anything that's been spurring that, keep doing that. Otherwise, it's just happening. It's like in the collective energy, in the energy ocean, if you want to call it that people are residing in, and you're getting a piece of that. So maybe just be, be grateful for the collective and the work people are doing to help have abundance rewrites for the better for all of us, if anyone's doing that work or setting those intentions or whatever is happening for the highest good. Next thing they're showing me is this orca, this killer whale, which showed up in one of the last readings, but not directly. So what's up with the orca here? So orcas are very intelligent animals. And I'm getting this message like you're going to be making intelligent choices as far as changes in your reality, changes in choices you're making. I'm getting you're a very intelligent being, or you have the capacity to be if you don't think that you are. No, I'm getting you do, at least most of you. So that's really cool. And they're also talking about putting that to good use. So it might be a good time to ask the question, like, what does your mind need? Like, ask yourself intuitively, like, does your mind need anything from you? Does your brain need anything from you? Your brain is a part of your body, so that can go hand in hand with asking your body what it needs. But it's like, does your brain need a specific supplement from you right now? Does your brain need a Sudoku puzzle? It shows you how much I do Sudoku. I can't even pronounce it right. Or does it need to read something, or does it need to just watch movies and chill out? Like, it's kind of a weird question, but you might get weird specific answers that help you if you work with your intuition like that. Others of you, just ask the universe to help you with that and see what shows up in your reality to help you, because it could just be like praying for your brain, like, source, help my brain out, however it needs help right now. Kind of a weird message, but I hope that helps for you regarding all of that. For some of you, that message like isn't as big of a deal. For others of you, it's like it'd be like a world-changing thing for you personally if you like to put it into practice, because maybe you just need some I don't know, maybe you just need some 5-HTP in your system or something like that. Or, I don't know. Trust your own intuition on that. Maybe consult a nutritionist or something. But let's see what else comes through for you regarding all this. There is something about mental patterns happening or coming through as well, and like mental pattern repatterning. So what is this about here? I feel like source or the universe, and it could be directly or indirectly, we can talk about that in a second, is rewiring your brain for abundance. All that being said, so you might be doing work on this by like listening to certain courses or people, or you might be doing something else, but it's like, again, like that's been a common message today, but I feel like it's just time for that to come in, or it's time for you to have more of that. It's time for you to do the repatterning necessary to have that and hold that and own that in your reality, and maybe even in your body or just your energy field, whatever it takes, whatever's for the highest good there. And so for some of you, this is automatic, like it's in your dream space. For others of you, you're like actively doing energy healing that's doing this, or setting intentions. For others of you, maybe you're working with NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, which I'm somewhat familiar with, but I haven't delved into super hardcore physically. Because I personally think there are better tools, and for most people, yes, I get there are better tools, but not to take away from that. If you're like an NLP master, you're like, hey, channeler man, I'm an NLP master. I've changed my life and countless lives. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I don't know if anyone like that is here, but not to take away from that tool, but you understand what I'm saying. I personally, for me, if you're bringing it in a way that's working and holistic, that's perfect. But I feel like energy healing or like consciousness work tends to get at the things that are the real crux of the issue better, more so than like just looking at like thoughts, for example. Not to take away from that work though too, because I think if you combine everything in the right ways, like that can be really potent and effective as well in really magical ways. So don't let me take away from anything. Let's keep going here. And there's the next thing they're showing me is like this Sea King. I don't know if you want to think of like Trident. Oh, what was his name? Was it King Trident from The Little Mermaid, the cartoon, the Disney movies, or if you want to think of something else. But what's up with the Sea King here? He's just like this random king of the sea showing up for this reading, and it's a weird message. Like the ocean is helping you with your abundance, or like the flow of like money, if you will, or the flow of energy in your life in some way. Because you think of like the currents in the ocean and the flow of rivers and how it all kind of goes back to the ocean or something like that. So what the heck is going on here though? So there's a couple things they're showing me. One is like getting into bodies of water to help like reset your electrical system. I've heard Lee Harris talk about this. I've also found it helpful more recently. The person I'm dating finds it helpful just to like get in the shower or get into like a bathtub or something, just to help, like if you're in like a weird place, to kind of reset things a little bit, you know, emotionally or maybe even energetically. But they're also showing this thing of like setting it, putting your intentions in water, or like programming the water with energies or intentions, and then like drinking it to like have that effect. So like you might be like programming the water with abundance or energies of abundance, and then drinking it to bring in abundance, or removing what's in the way of your abundance and bringing in abundance, or something like that. So I don't know, if you're working with water to bring in abundance or to do any work, that could be good for you right now, or for healing, whatever it is, that's perfect. For others of you, what else is going on here? I feel like this is just happening. It's like the flow of the universe is redirecting to bring you abundance because it's time. So that's cool. There's been a lot of interesting messages today on just abundance and on that topic, but anything else here? I feel like this is something you've earned, like you've done the work for this, and I would still keep doing the daily work that they talked about earlier, because I think that could just compound and bring in more. But next thing they're showing me coral, like the, you know, like a coral reef. And for some of you, if not a lot of you, it's time to come out of hiding. Like, for example, if you haven't been posting on social media, but you're trying to grow a business that requires you to post on social media, or if you are desiring a certain job, but you need to put applications out, like it's time to come out of hiding. Or maybe you've been like hiding away from your friend groups and social obligations or social gatherings, and like it's time to like for people to see you or in some way, shape, or form, whatever that means to you. I feel like that is going to be helpful for you to kind of get out of your own way and just kind of get out amongst people, or post on social media, or do whatever it is you do, and kind of move the energies that way and in that direction. Because I again, source would like to gift to you. It could be gifting that shows up through other people, but you might have to be around other people or presented to other people in some way in order for them to gift to you. Does that make sense? So maybe try to get around people a little bit more in a way that resonates for you or feels good to you, whether it's posting or it is just going to social gatherings you're invited to, or calling a friend you haven't spoken to in a while that you've been kind of feeling pulled to call intuitively, whatever that is. Like that's going to be good for you. Next thing here, like almost every person or every sign, I guess, has had something about treasure showing up in their readings. So what's up for you guys here? I think what I'm getting, it's not what I think. What I'm getting is like you are a treasure, and you're going to be shown that you are a treasure to other people and to the world. And I get that owning that will help you to own your abundance as well, but also help to own your worth and value, and get you to stop treating yourself like you're some piece of trash floating in the garbage. You know, for example, like one thing I get is like there's this weird theory that people will talk about, and it's usually like angsty people, where like, oh, humanity is just like a parasite to the planet and to like other things, and I'm a parasite, oh my god. And it's like, what I get is, no, that's not true. And I'm not trying to make fun of those people with that voice. I don't know where that came from. Maybe it's just for humor. But what I always get from like Source and the angels, like, no, humanity is welcome on Earth. And when I talk to the Earth about it, the Earth is like, no, you're very welcome here. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. You know, and it might be good if we started focusing on sustainability a bit more, and people are, or, did some more, the right people did the right amount of work on that. But Yes, of course, especially corporations and all that, yes. But and it's moving that direction slowly. Like we'll get there. It'll just might take some time. But it's happening is what I'm getting, so that's good. But I get we're not a parasite, but that could be an example. Like you were like, oh, people hate me. I'm a parasite to people. Oh, no, and it's and not trying to create that, of course, cancel it clear, but uh, you're not like you're a treasure to people. Like you're treasured by people, like whether it's family or friends, or maybe you don't have anyone in your life right now, but maybe that's who you're going to meet are people you're treasured by, or you can call those people in where people like recognize the treasure that you are, that God or source, whatever word you use, brought to this planet, or so you are a treasure, own that value. That's going to be helpful for you because it's just true, and that's all cool and stuff. Next thing they are showing me is a trident, like the King Neptune kind of trident thing. And what's up with the trident now? I do get that you're going to be having a bit more control over the flow of your reality, like the energy flows in your reality, which is really cool. Kind of makes sense with like the flow of like abundance that we talked about, like the flow of the ocean and all that in an earlier message here. And I feel like you're being handed the keys to that and the responsibility a little bit for that. And you can still work with Source on it. You can still be like, Source, guide me through this so I do it properly and for the highest good and don't mess anything up or whatever. And like, that's fine, but you won't, is what I'm getting. It's more like what you've been asking for because you'll actually be able to call things in with more ease if you're able to control the flow a bit more in your reality. So it's kind of like the trident in some mythologies or in certain, pieces of fiction or fantasy controls the ocean or things in the ocean. It's kind of like you're getting that control maybe over the energy in your life in some way, which will be really cool and powerful. And it's almost like a tool that's being handed to you in a way that you can use, the trident. So that's cool. And I feel like if you see a trident as like a sign or like, from the universe or a synchronicity, and like there's a situation going on in your life that you'd like to change, it's like telling you have the power to change it, or that you'll be able to change it soon. Like something will open up for you to change that situation, or it'll just change, because you're kind of willing it at that point. Not to take away from whatever tools you're using for any of that already. So they're kind of done with the reading. Zebra's showing up again at the end of this reading. He's just, again, reminding you, saying you're unique and not to judge yourself compared to other people, no matter how well it seems like they're doing, because you might not realize how they are actually doing. It kind of reminds me of, I know some people, it turns into a whole smorgasbord of things I feel called to say, but I know some people who are like wealthy, like monetarily at least. And from most people's perception, they might judge that they are like happy. But I was like talking to my mom actually recently, and she said something along the lines of like, oh yeah, like because like we were referring to these people, and she was talking about how like, oh well, this person like would say all these judgmental things, and they'd probably be like they're probably really miserable because everything she's seen with people who judge a lot, they're usually really miserable. And it was really interesting because my guys are like, yep, that person's miserable. I'm like, what? And like, I hadn't, it's not like I didn't realize that. It's just like I never really tuned in to, I guess, like check in on it in the first place. Cause it's not like I meet people or check up with people. And the first thing I'm like, are they miserable guides? Like, it's like not what I go to. Right? I'm more just kind of there in the moment and seeing what I'm guided to say and following the energy, I guess. But it was really interesting because that's not what I would have thought was going on in that situation. But yeah, I was getting that person was judgmental and they were miserable. I'm like, oh, fascinating. So I forgot where I was going with all this. Oh yeah, sometimes you think like you think, oh my God, you think you realize how someone's doing on the inside if they're like doing this thing and it looks really cool. But sometimes they are not that thing. They are actually miserable on the inside or something like that. Even if they had every opportunity, it seemed like to be happy. But on the flip side, I don't want to put it on you or anyone that because they have money, they are judgmental or miserable, because that doesn't have to be true. I really firmly believe and have received the information intuitively and channeled wise that it is possible to have it all. And like you can have money and be joyful and happy and be doing something you love or have great people and energies around you, and things are, could be really great. Like, what if that's possible, and what will it take for that to show up? Because there's no reason to not have that if it's possible, I suppose. And maybe it takes some work, maybe to have that, maybe it doesn't. But I'm just putting it out there that you could manifest that too if you so desired. And one thing you could also do is just like, because you can get any energy from source. So you can be like, okay, source, what would it be like? What would the energy be of me having it all? Like, what would it be like if I had it all? Please show me that now, thanks. And you can have that. So my body already started reacting and responding energetically. For me, like I start to feel really joyful, and maybe those aren't even the full encapsulating words, but things like that. And my body will just like be like smiling, and I'll be like excited, I'm like, woo, like flying high. And then you kind of just get that energy. You're like, okay, I asked for that. And that's like another way to manifest, by the way, is just, and there's like more involved ways you could go into it that people like in different modalities talk about, like access consciousness. And there's less involved ways. It really depends on where you're at with all that. But I don't know. One way you can do it is getting the energy of the thing, and then it feels great and you ask for it. And then, as far as like if you listen to access consciousness people, they'll be like, then like pay attention to what shows up as opportunities or people or places or things, and like does it have that energy flavor to it, whereas the same energy, and then like you'll know to go that direction, because like, oh, this job opportunity came up, I felt that same energy I felt when I felt into having it all, I'm gonna go that way because that's the step towards having it all. So just as an example, but that's like a whole other topic. And they're telling me to tell you about this podcast episode in case it is a good resource for you. And I'm going to trust that the right people to be drawn to it will be drawn to it, and the right people that are be like, that's not for me, will just not go towards it. But if you go to the Possibility Explorer podcast by Dr. Dane here, and go to like episode 5, I think it is. It's like creating your epic life, or like 5 tips to creating your epic life. He like walks you through that exercise the way Access Consciousness teaches it, at least. And there's other ways, of course, but that could be a resource for some of you if you're like called to that. Just to spread the wealth, share the information. And of course, I've had other ways to manifest that worked for me. That thing that they talked about has also worked for me. So do what works is what I'd say in some ways. Anything else with the reading before we kind of close it out? There is one more message. I've started to close that prematurely. There's like this alien creature showing up here. He looks like some type of cross between like a giraffe and like a tree and a zebra, but it's all very organic. It's almost kind of ghostly in a way too, which is fascinating. But let me see what's up with this creature. So the message for you is that it is time to unleash the full you, whatever that looks like. And it might not look like any other creature on Earth, kind of like this interesting, like ghostly, organic tree, bear, llama, giraffe thing. But it's really cool. Like it looks really cool. It's very effective, and it has everything it needs because it is what it is, and it can do things that no one else can do. And that's like the perfect thing to be, is what I'm getting for you. Even if you all became your own versions of exactly what you were meant to be, that's different than anyone or anything else, in the planet or in the universe or whatever that means to you. And it's not like you lose community necessarily by doing that. Conversely, you'll probably find where you either fit in or the space you're meant to occupy if you're who you're meant to be, rather than like trying to fit in somewhere you don't really fit, and you're like, why don't I fit in? And you feel more isolated even though you're around people. You know that whole game. So I guess I would like call in being all you can be, and all that you are meant to be, and all that you really are. And I feel like that's going to help you, because you won't be like trying to pretend to be like other people or anything like that. So I hope that helped, resonated, did whatever is for us good. The other last thing coming through is like there is a big energy clearing coming in right now that's happening for everybody, just in general. Like it's just like this clearing phase that's getting us ready for February, but for next month if you're seeing this in the future, because it's meant to be timeless. And I feel like you're going to be doing a lot better after that. Not that you can't be doing great right now, of course, but just be aware, like there's a lot that's just kind of clearing out of the way right now. And that could be very joyful for you and ease-filled. It could be like, if you're clinging to things a lot, it could be difficult. But so just maybe try to let go a little bit with all that. But I feel like you're on the right track beyond that. So hope that was good. Thank you, Train. Thanks, universe. Thanks, Kathleen, for putting that information there for people. You're welcome, Lainey. I'm glad the water resonated for you. Woo, how's it get? Oh my gosh, honey bear this. You're welcome. You're welcome, Abundance of Joy. You're welcome, Spence. So we're gonna do full channel mode in just a second here. I'm just gonna take like a quick second and drink water. And we'll see what my spirit guides, angels, and source would like to say. Thank you, Andy Pandy Pie. So good to see you. Do these channels also resonate with you too? They can, especially if it's a sign that is for me. Like, it depends, because sometimes they don't resonate for me in the moment, but at the time I watch it later. Like if I go back and watch my own readings, like a month or two later or whatever, it's like, then it'll like, I'll be like, oh, there it is. Like, that's perfect for what I'm going through. You know, that resonates. But sometimes it does, if it's like one of my signs specifically, like it'll kind of tickle on some things going on, or is it like maybe a silly way to say it? And maybe not. It'll hit is what I'm saying. But oh, thank you, Julie Sunrise. Watching Percy Jackson. There you go. It's usually more than a tickle, which is maybe why that wasn't the right way to say that, but used to say what the right way to say it is. Call it getting poked. Yeah, that works. Perfect, Honeycomb Hideout. As long as you got what you needed and what was just right for you, I will receive that, and I think that's great. I'm glad that worked out, and you are welcome. 5 HTP. Yeah, it was actually 5 HTP, which I know I probably said it really quickly, and like it might not have been pronounced as clearly as I would have liked. But it's actually, I think it's like a neurotransmitter, but you can purchase it in the form of a supplement from most health food stores. And like I remember one time someone was talking about how someone they knew, I'm not promising this is how this works by the way right now, but they were talking about someone was trying to like get better at drums, for example. So they'd take this, you know, neurotransmitter to try and help with like building the neural pathways to build the skill while they're trying to learn it, for example. I think some people who, I don't know if I want to talk about this, but there are other people who use it for other reasons after using certain types of party, you know, drugs, but I haven't used it for that purpose, so I can't vouch for that. I guess like I know certain types of like mushroom-based supplements can also help with like brain pathways and like stuff. But I guess I would recommend you do your own research or talk to a nutritionist about that. And I guess the proper way to say it would be it supports the function of the brain or something. Because I used to work at a health food store, and you'd have to like learn like the proper language so you weren't like medically in legal trouble by saying certain things, even if the supplement worked really well for what you were talking about with it. But that's a side story, I guess. Oh, interesting. Abundance of joy. Okay, cool. There you go, Honeycomb Hideout. Thank you. Another one I've heard about was Bacopa Minieri, I think it was called. I felt pretty good when I was taking that one. It's like a mushroom supplement for the brain, for mental support, for supporting optimal function of the brain. Oof. Okay, so they have been telling me to start the full channel mode for the past couple minutes now. So for those of you who are familiar, you know what is about to happen. Well, you probably know what's about to happen. For the rest of you, I'm going to be channeling I'm going to drink more water because my throat is making noises. Not me talking, it's just feeling a little bit coarse. Oh, interesting. L-theanine and L-tyrosine. Okay, I'll keep those in mind too. Thank you, Honeycomb Hideout. Oh, I'm glad Honeycomb Hideout is here to talk about the... Oh, wait, I know you... Oh, that's right. I remember. Okay. I know who you are, Honeycomb Hideout. I know you know about supplements. Thank you for being here and telling people about them. I don't know why I didn't like put two and two together there for a second. But thank you so much. Good to see you here. Um, so just to let you guys know, Honeycomb Hideout probably knows a great deal about supplements. So I'm not, unless they would like me to recommend that you ask them about it. I'm not gonna, I don't want to force that on anybody or force a flood of questions your way. But uh, thank you. Oh, interesting. Linnea says Korean ginseng. Oh, to help with inflammation. That's interesting. I know I've heard that turmeric supplements can support the inflammatory response, can support a healthy inflammatory response in the body. But you have to get the right supplements that absorb properly. Like they has to have black pepper in it or something. But okay, so they would like me to stop talking about herbs and start talking about the full channel, but you guys can keep talking about herbs. So I need more water. Jeez, 1 second. They might just be waiting for someone to show up for the channel or something. So I'm going to channel my spirit guides, angels, and source for you guys fully for the highest good. And for anyone not familiar, typically they will, well, not typically. There's a couple things to watch out for. One is that they will, of course, bring through the message. That's for the highest good for them to bring through and talk about whatever topics they'd like to talk about. The other thing is they will have, there's an energetic transmission that flows from source. It's for the highest good. It does something like energy healing. It can do upgrading, can bring shifts and changes to your life for the highest good and to you for the highest good. So I don't like to limit it. I know I kind of give like words to give a start of the understanding, but those would be like starting places of understanding I would provide, and they are accurate too, so that's cool. It can also open up your intuition, and if you're meant to channel, you're channeling as well when you're in the frequency of channeling, like when you're listening to a channel or watching it or reading it, a well-channeled thing, I guess, is the what I'll say, that can help open up your intuition as well. So, and there's some other channelers out there too that are really great. If you ever feel called to more beyond what I'm facilitating here, usually for the lives, I don't go much longer than like 15 to 20 minutes for the channels. Though I do have like longer full channel mode messages elsewhere. I could talk about that later. Well, it's part of the monthly membership I do, but I didn't want to get into that before channeling. So, but oh well. So we are going to see what my spirit guides, angels, and source would like to say today. And if you need a name for them, they like the name, the Angelic Collective of Zorbital, even though they don't really have names up there. That's what they gave me to refer to them as. So, welcome to today's channeled message. And as we've said previously, you are all ascending, but you are all upgrading body-wise right now. And that is one of the main messages we would like to provide for you through the energies of the collective, through hitting the 2024 energies, through your own intentions, even your intentions to help your intuition and upshift your lives. Oftentimes, the body also adjusts energetically, your energy bodies, even your physical body, to allow in the shift and the change. And this might not be readily apparent physically. If you were to look at your neighbor who was shifting and descending and going higher into a new trajectory or anything of the sort, they might look relatively the same. Unless you looked energetically, you might see they are glowing, they are brightening up, they are lightening up, they are more in joy. You would see their body glowing. That is what's happening to you, each of you. Even if you are in miserable circumstances right now, or you are judging yourself as miserable, or you are losing all hope about the collective or the world, we would say stay the course in some ways. Things will improve, but you are actively shedding things that allows your body then to embody more light. We realize we jumbled the words, but we have to deal with this human mouth. Sometimes that gets in the way. As you can imagine, we don't have mouths up here, you could say. Well, we will do our best with what we have, but you are glowing. You are lightening up. You are opening possibilities through your body. As you unlock what your body can do, as you unlock your intuitive faculties, as you unlock the energy flow from source through your body, which all of you are meant to have, none of you are meant to be separated from source, disconnected from source for any length of time. You are meant to always have a flow of divine energy or energies from source flowing through you. And for some of you, that is the missing key in your abundance, you bringing things in, is you cut off that flow because you think it is wrong, either because a spiritual teacher told you, oh, you're not supposed to have energies flowing through you all the time, for whatever reasons. Perhaps they said you would ruin your systems, which you won't. You're meant to have a divine connection, whether that is big or small, or you are using that for the benefit of others and channeling messages for others, or you are just letting it flow through you for your own benefits and just basking in those energies as they flow through you. No wrong way to go about it, no wrong amounts. It is about what is right for you at this leg of your journey and what you're meant to bring through you. And what this message is doing, this channel, is reconnecting you to the divine flow of energy you're meant to have to bring you optimal abundance, but also to bring you to joy and the true you. And also to help open your heart to allow you to receive joy in your magnetic abundance. For that is what is missing for about half of this crowd, is the heart expansion, the heart opening that allows them to receive what you need to receive in order for you to have what you'd like to have. That's all that's missing. Just a big heart opening. And yes, there are many tools you could utilize to do this, to expand into this, to open your hearts. But sometimes it is as simple as putting your awareness or focus on your heart or heart chakra, whichever feels best to you, that we would recommend heart center, the center of your chest. And get your awareness of that ball of energy. And you can just tell it, open please, to whatever degree you're ready, at whatever speed you are ready to open at, for the highest good. Whatever ways would be easy for me, please open and just sit with it. You can ask the angels to help you open your heart right now, or at the right speed for you. You can ask Source to come in and help you with this, as this divine energy flows. But just put your awareness on your heart chakra for a second. And if you were listening to this and you chose the physical heart, that's fine too. Trust your intuition. But coax your heart open. What love are you not receiving? From the universe, from yourself, from your body, from others? That would allow you to open your heart if you were to receive it. How can you receive more of that? What love from the divine could you receive right now that would help you open your hearts? And try to bring that love through you. Ask it to flow through you from source. It can be through your crown chakra. It can be directly from source to your hearts. And you don't need to force anything. It's more allowing and opening. Allowing a joy. Allowing a love to burst forth. And you don't have to have an explanation for why you feel that love or joy. You just have to be in that energy as the divine energy flows. If you were to take some time each day just to coax your heart awake or open with an exercise similar to this, whatever version resonated most for you is one to try, or one that your spirit guides told you to try, you would open up your magneticness and your abundance. And you would open up your divine flow of receiving. Especially if you were to bring the divine energy through you at the same time. And all you have to do that is ask. I asked for the divine energy to flow through me for the highest good. I asked to have a flow of divine energy through me for the highest good. and just feel that energy flow through, or intuitively see it, depending on which clair you resonate with most strongly at this time. Or you might see it, know it, feel it, acknowledge it's happening with all the clairs, see that it's happening with all the clairs, however you'd like to say it. There's no limits. And you know who you are, how each of you work. But the reason we are focusing on the heart right now as well is that is where a lot of the shifts on the planet are taking place, with heart center energy. Connecting your brain to your heart energetically, for example, could help open your intelligence more. Bringing more heart energy out into the world is going to help things flow to you more easily. So aside from what we have already brought through as an exercise to help with this, how can you open your hearts? See if anything else comes to you intuitively or as a channeled message, depending on where you are at with all that, as an idea or step you can take to open your heart more. Is it a friend you need to call more often? Is it a prayer you need to intend and recite more often? Is it an activity you need to bring in once a week? Is it just being more aware of how your heart is responding to your environment and how your energy field is responding to your environment as you go about your day? And making adjustments as you gain the awareness of what expands your hearts and what makes you feel icky or shrunk down. What makes you feel less there, less powerful, less you. Because that could be another navigation barometer, is your heart field and your energy field's response to your environment. That is part of your awareness. That is part of your energetic sensitivity. Use it to the best of your ability. Use it wisely. And you will use it wisely. Because if you make the adjustments from there, you can go to where your heart is welcomed, to where you are welcomed, and to where you are allowed to be fully expressed. And you can be in that heart energy more and more and more. And you can be with people who receive it and contribute back to you more heart energy. And then suddenly you are a conduit of love on the planet. Many of you already are, but an expanded conduit of love, peace, divine energies, because all of those are found in the heart. All of those are found in an open heart. And every area of your life will thank you for this. Every area of your life will thank you for this up-leveling to your joy, to this up-leveling of the divine energies flowing through you, to this up-leveling of the love in your world, to this up-leveling of your receiving based on the adjustments you've made, based on what your heart and heart field and energy field have told you about your environments and what adjustments need to be made for your highest good. And as you open your hearts, you also open a facet of your intuition, another layer of your intuition, another connection to your intuition. Because your heart is intuitive. Many of you know this. Many of you have heard this. Many of you have heard this from other sources, individuals, channels, intuitives, readers, what have you. But it is true. So what can you do to support your hearts in the coming months? What can you do to nurture yourself and your hearts? in the coming weeks and months? What can you do to expand your heart for the highest good, the heart energies, in the coming days, weeks, and months? And if anything comes to you intuitively, great. If not, put it out as an intention and see what shows up. And there's one more thing we'd like to get to today. Along with this transmission for divine energies, along with this transmission for your hearts, give your brains a rest from the world news. Give your brains a rest from over worry right now. Give your brains a rest from others' problems right now. Yes, you are infinite. Yes, you are expanded. But as far as humans go, you are one person. You have one brain in that head of yours. And yes, you could get into scientific information about the heart and the stomach and the layers of the brain. We know. But listen to what we are saying. In a sense, on a certain level, you are one being. So the worries of the world do not have to be all yours, piled into one body. We talked about energy fields recoiling or feeling icky. We imagine that scenario, carrying the world's worries, felt a bit more icky or like something you would recoil from, in a sense. Because that is not your job. Your job was not to incarnate here and then go, oh boy, can't wait to come to this planet to worry for everyone. Your soul did not sign up to come here and worry for everyone. Far from it. Your soul came here to seed things like love and joy, intuition, higher consciousness, greater space, higher ways of being, etc., etc. No limit to that list, because there are many great things on it, but you understand the gist at that point. So will you let go of that worry for everyone and everything when you did not come here necessarily just to worry or just to carry the burdens of the world? That doesn't do anything for the world. Because eventually, in this lifetime, you die, and then where do the burdens go? Back to the world. You didn't do anything. You just carried burdens. The best thing you can do, in some sense, is take care of yourself. Work on yourself. And help the collective how you are guided to. You are not here to carry worries and burdens. You're not here to take on the collective stuff. You're not here to worry for everyone. Just to let you know. So this is your permission to focus on yourself and your heart and your needs and what's for your highest good, and then go out and fulfill your mission. So you are taken care of, so the world has one less person to worry about, and one less person worrying about it. We leave you there. We are wishing you abundance, love, peace, joy, out of this world, new possibilities, and a higher reality for all. And may this transmission shift all that is for the highest good for it to shift. Signing out for now, the Angelic Collective Absorbital and Source. Farewell for now. Ooh. That one felt different at the end. Yes, Tanya, this will be posted on YouTube. You're welcome, Abundance Love Joy. Glad to hear it. You're welcome, Michelle Swihart. I feel like I'm hitting another level with these. I feel good about that. You're welcome, Andy Pandy Pie. You're welcome, Ganesha. You're welcome, XXT. Good to see you, by the way. Thank you, Julie Sunrise. You're welcome, Denise. Thanks, Abundance Love Joy. I appreciate the confirmation there. Oh, interesting. You were just looking up about imbalanced heart meridian. That's so fascinating. Love that synchronicity. It's next level time in 24. Sure is. Whoop, whoop. Thanks, Queen of Swords. I appreciate it. Heck yeah, Maria. Yeah, Marianne. I'm glad that was helpful. Ooh, something was different in your face. Interesting. Perfect, Sunray. That's awesome. I look different? Ooh. While channeling or just now? I feel different now. Yeah, like the trance out at the end. Yeah, the end was really interesting with what happens. I think there were a few things they were... never mind. Thank you, Spence. I am actually getting not to facilitate the energy healing guitar tonight, Denise, but I planned on it originally, but I guess it's not in the cards today. Is there a specific reason you chose to do these lives on Sundays? Dahlia Lama asks. Actually not. What ended up happening was I got 1,000 followers between Saturday and Sunday, like Saturday night, and it was just the first day I could go live, so I just went live on Sunday, and then I just kept going live every Sunday. Perfect, Maria. I'm so glad to hear it. I'm so glad to hear that was helpful. Ooh, I will still receive that. I appreciate it. Monday here in Australia. Hey, that works too. Yeah, that's true. You're just like, why does this guy keep going live on Mondays? I'm sure you realized it was a different time zone, but okay. So I'll probably hang out for a little bit, but I think we're gonna probably wind down the live or close it out in a second here. I don't know if wind down's the right choice of words, but you're welcome, Cap. So glad to hear it was amazing. Oh no, I hope your car gets better. Well, hope your car gets better. Hope you're able to resolve the car situation easily. It's maybe the better way to say it. Hey, you can do it, Lainey. I would just figure out the method you would like to try and just give it a shot. And, you know, if something happens and you do mess it up, there will always be a different group of people that can show up for the next round of going live. But I don't feel like you'll mess it up. You're welcome, Tara. Thank you. Thank you so much. No, it's good to be back. Good to get to do this. Felt really good today. So that's awesome. And I love getting to hang out with you guys. I know we have a really solid group that tends to show up for these. So I appreciate that a lot too. Oh no. You're welcome. Well, I hope things get better for you, Gem Spirit messages. If I'm reading that. Yeah, I'm reading that right. Okay, so I'm getting to just kind of close the live, guys. So it was so good to get to do this for you. It was so good to see you guys again. I am, of course, wishing you well, a beautiful week ahead, beautiful month ahead, and I should be back next Sunday. So, of course, just post a little story if I can't make it, but I should be able to. I don't see a reason I won't be able to, okay? So, you're welcome, Abba. This will be up on YouTube, of course, in the next couple of days, barring any technical difficulties, and I guess that's it. So, all right, guys, you're welcome, and have a great week, and I will see you in the future. Whoop. Farewell for now, if I can do